about
I
it.
think
All
I was
right.
bragging about it, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Okay, I have a bald spot too. My hair
Okay.
just covers
Stop
it.
trying to be inclusionary.
Yeah, stop trying to conform, Criana.
Hey, you know what?
Live your own life.
Only 90 kids. Hashtag. I lived the 90s.
Okay, please stop. All right.
Guys,
Anyway.
I'm streaming right now.
Oh, they
We
know. They know. They know
Well,
very clearly what's going on.
all right.
So I'm gonna just quickly tweet that we're starting a regular session now.
Well, yeah.
I
Come
will
join.
retweet that.
And then we'll get started here.
Yes, excellent.
Yes.
Get it good.
So last session, we ended with a little emotionally dramatic moment after hearing a few gunshots outside the grungy, old underused warehouse in a certain area of northern Tolkien. And the party is on. Well, is it fair to say that we start the session with you guys returning back to the rented airship? Well, I guess I could say it's not really an airship. It's a ley line. I'll just call it a ship.
Yeah.
The rented
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you guys managed to get back on board, and where would you guys like to go next, or what would you like to do next? Would you like to talk as a group, decide out of character? The ball's really in your court right now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I guess we can talk in character.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
See, what did we just do?
We just visited the black market. Oh, we could take a look
Right.
at that hard drive that we were given.
Hmm. That's definitely an option.
Another option could be potentially if we want to be paranoid about this, we could go out and purchase a brand new computer and then put that hard drive into this brand new computer and check it out instead of any of our personal ones.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, you still have the bracelet in your pocket, right? The gold bracelet that the
yeah,
Tolkien security gave you? Okay.
I do have it after the gunshots and after trying to make sure to drag Al back to the ship. Tom will put it back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys want me to kind of take liberties and spur things forward, I will. But like I said, up to you, fellows.
As a player, I think looking at the hard drive is a good idea. As a
Yeah.
character, Al is being very quiet.
Okay.
Let's look at the hard drive.
Okay.
Let's
All
look at
right.
the hard drive.
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling that we should be paranoid. Is that cool with you guys? Tom will bring
Sure.
this up in character.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, let me help. Maybe let's set the scene together, right? To get things going. All right. So you guys are back on the ship. You do know there's an area up on the deck and a small kind of dining bar area below decks, right? Do you guys want to have this meet, whether to look at the hard drives and talk amongst each other above deck or below deck?
Let's go below.
below.
Okay. That cool with everyone? Okay, below. So you get below deck, out of the sight. Where you've parked your ship, the ley line ship, isn't anywhere obstructing anyone, right? It's just like any other parked vehicle, so no one's spurring you to move on. The other NPCs will, of course, follow your lead as well, also assembling in the lower decks of your ship, of your yacht. Now, how many of you have personal computers? Personal pocket computers or a personal kind of laptop device?
I have two.
Most of us. I have one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any.
I have,
Do I
have
one
one?
from space.
I don't think I do.
Okay.
And I also have one that's run on an ISP.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we know Patrick has one for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so does Al. Okay, so Who do you think would use their computer to hook up the external hard drive to?
I will hook it up to my computer.
Just stated.
Mila takes the cord and plugs it against her head, but unfortunately nothing connects.
My brain is like its own operating system. I don't know what that means, but I heard Patrick say it before.
Patrick nods in agreement.
Well,
Sadly, I don't believe it don't have the right words.
Mila.
There's nothing on it.
A bunch of red marks are on Mila's forehead where the little imprints of the little cord nubbin leaves. She keeps trying to plug it into her head.
Maybe if I try my ear. Just gonna keep just trying.
Someone do
Anyone-
something. God asks or pleads.
Puts it in her nose.
Oh God.
Patrick walks over and goes, Mila,
Yeah?
may I try?
Of course. She will present her other nostril to you.
Patrick will, did you hand him the cord or are you just showing him your nostril?
Well, she's handing you the cord, but she's also like leaning her head forward, like, go for it. What are you waiting for, Patrick?
Patrick will slide out a pen flashlight from his pocket and stick it up your nose.
Mila makes a little noise in response.
He's gonna turn it on.
Okay.
Mila sits there staring.
I think that should work.
Okay.
Wait,
Glad I
wait,
can
help
help.
me out here. So is the hard drive connected to your computer?
Patrick, after working with Mila, is going to take it out. Take his.
Okay.
He's going to actually take out his other personal. Apparently, he has like 3.
Okay.
Jeez.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He's going to use. He's going to use his old personal one that he has not used for a very long time.
Okay. So you plug it in, and as soon as you do so, a program launches automatically. And it's not a very sophisticated program, and it's not a very invasive program. In fact, Patrick, because of your computing programming knowledge, you quickly identify this as almost like a self-executable type of program, perfect for individuals who don't know anything about computers. A black screen, the view screen turns completely black, and with just the adjustment of the arrow keys on your laptop, you are able to cycle through pages of data, in which I will highlight some of the specifics. What would you guys like to read first? The stuff in regards to coalition intelligence, or the items dealing with your safe house, the address, and where and when you can pick up certain items from Ishpeming?
I am interested in the items from Ishpeming, but that's just
Yeah, I think that one first and then coalition stuff.
Okay. Give me just one moment.
What?
Okay, so first and foremost, you were given a key by the large black marketeer known as Cal, or what other people called Prop Cal or Proposition Cal. He and that key apparently has no disturbing markings, but the readout on Patrick's computer explains that it gives an address on the western side of Tolkien specifically in an area. In fact, I'm going to go one better, and on the map itself, I'm going to highlight in red the exact place in which it is, which is in this residential area on that corner house right there. It's a small X, so you're going to have to look into the
I see
western
it.
quadrant. But that is, for the sake of a visual reference, where it is. The address is a basic numbered and named system. Specifically, it is apartment 3, address 57 of Gears Roth Avenue. That's not really relevant when you guys just say you go, if you decide to go to the safe house, I'm not going to quiz you on it, but that is the information on the packet.
Mhm.
In regards to the items of Ishpeming, you were informed that in 5 days from now, there is an external site. Precisely 20 miles to the northwest, in which coordinates are displayed to you. Those of you who have land navigation, roll me a D100, please.
I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
Da 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 da.
Whoa.
And Patrick got a 1.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
So, now, Mila, Tom, did you both succeed on your rolls?
No, I failed.
Okay, all right. Tom, did you succeed on your roll?
I did succeed by, let's see, 23.
Okay, so I'll go with you 3 characters one by one and what these specific coordinates mean to you. Mila, the numbers look kind of familiar to you, but you've seen so many numbers today that it doesn't seem like anything special, right? Tom, you recognize the numbers as what is normally referred to as longitude and latitude indicators. Allowing sophisticated, not really GPS, because you need a satellite for that, and we all know the satellites up in space want to kill everybody, but you can still provide longitude and latitude coordinates without needing a communication to space, right? It is a little bit of a less used system of measurement. Most of the time, when you grew up, people used landmarks or just distances in north, south, east, and west, right? Or the very least, like some marks on a compass. But you have enough experience in traveling to recognize these as longitude and latitude measurements. Patrick, not only do you recognize almost immediately exactly what these things are, but after a few moments of study, your mind flashes a significant amount of insight. The longitude and latitude coordinates is not just a single instance. Coupled with the directions of north and south, you're able to determine that the direction, when it said go 20 miles to the southwest of Tolkien, and these longitude and latitudinal coordinates don't exactly match up. They're a little bit different. Why the discretion? Well, perhaps because both those numbers, the directions and the numbers, is an intrinsic code. A code you think you got yourself the handle of. A code that if you intercepted or were able to acknowledge any other black market in Tolkien, similar coordinates, you'd be able to set up a pattern. And you have a theoretical confidence that armed with just 2 or 3 of these codes, these supposed safe houses, you might be able to map out all the external caches and safe houses of the Black Mark in the Tolkien area.
What the hell?
He does now. Patrick does know he needs a little bit more data to confirm this, but this initial inspection does definitely formulate that theory in his mind.
Okay.
That's
The-
cool.
Hold the goddamn phone. Okay.
Mhm.
What you're saying is Patrick essentially just saw the Matrix.
Not
He knows
Not
Kung Fu.
quite.
The
No.
code is spinning in front of his eyes, and everything is clicking. Is what
No,
you're
no.
trying to tell me?
No, what I'm trying to say is that he noticed a discrepancy, attributed it to some sort of code, and has the theory that if he's able to find one or two more instances of that code, it's like he's discovered a secret treasure map with invisible ink. And the treasure, instead of being buried treasure, it's caches of who knows what that the black market uses. This particular longitudinal latitudinal measurement says that once you arrive there, to dig exactly 5 feet into the ground, in which you will find your items that are expected to be delivered
In 5 days.
in 5 days. Yes.
We have a mystery to solve, gang.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love those ones.
Mm.
Okay.
So we might be able just to find every safe house and clean them out.
If we want.
Yeah. Now, as a reminder that this is external, this is outside the bounds of the city of Tolkien. These are in slightly more wilderness or less, not any less patrolled, but it's not within the city, right? It's outside the city. Within probably, Patrick would estimate, maybe about a 30-mile radius of the city. These caches are probably spirited around. So, am I good to continue on with the coalition section of this data cache?
Yeah.
Or do you have any
sure.
questions
I
for
believe
me?
so. Sure. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
floored by that
Okay.
that Patrick thing. I don't even. Wow.
Done.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, the coalition data cache has a swath of what I would like to call minor details, things that I won't illustrate this very second, but something that you do have access to. Examples of are suspected or confirmed radio signals when they've been activated, and general patterns of coalition patrol locations all along the southern and sometimes a little bit of the western borders of the baronies of Tolkien and further south. But the real meat of this document is deep intel on what appears to be 3 operations. Although the data itself does not explain how this data was acquired, it is, however, seen to be extremely factual. The first is on a project called Operation Silverwing. Out of all the 3 operations, this is the most vague, but also the largest mobility of forces. Specifically, Operation Silverwing, it appears that the coalition has just begun, authorized 3 days ago, a series of long recon dispatches. And Al, you recognize these recon forces are not just small squads of Samus or Sky Cycles. These are large squads of those, in addition of also ground recon units, which is very, very distinctive because of how far and spread out it's going to be. It appears it's all going towards the east, piercing into and perhaps beyond the Federation of magic zone. It appears to be extremely spread out over a 600-mile line to the east, and the amount of resources is akin to entire army divisions being mobilized. The first to arrive in this area, as is with many coalition operations, will be Psystalker and Dogboy recon teams, which Al would acknowledge is not only are Dogboys and Psystalkers very good recon teams, especially for long-range reconnaissance, but if there's something very dangerous or hostile zone, then really you're just losing one soldier and just some Dogboys, right? So that's Operation Silverwing. Then there's another operation called Operation Stillwaters, in which patrols around the Riverine and Mizarine baronies, which you guys do recognize, those are the two kind of territories directly south of the city of Tolkien and the Tolkien barony. It appears that either because of Operation Silverwing or other orders, that there is a 25% reduction in army personnel, and it appears new fortifications are being built all along that border. The final operation is called Operation Coalesce, which shows that a major coalition force, specifically identified as Army Groups A and B, are merging into a single Army tactical unit and is stationed in the very near vicinity of Chi-Town. Once again, Al's intimate knowledge of coalition protocols provides some insight here. Chi-Town is the capital of the coalition states, the strongest of the coalition states, but it also is the one that requires the least amount of military presence and the least amount of direct military patrol. The very fact that two entire army groups are stationed very, very close to the coalition capital, concentrated in such a form, has never been seen since the war with the Federation of Magic decades before. Although specific conclusions cannot be drawn by this black market intel and is not given by this data pack, there is a lot of chatter amongst members of the black market that something big is happening and the coalition is preparing for something big. The biggest and most prevalent theory amongst individuals contributing to this data cache is that they're preparing for an attack. In addition, this coalition data cache has additional bits of chatter. One that definitely catches your eye, which identifies and implicates that agents BRR, Killshot, and Agent Overton is in the Tolkien area. The suspicious death of a local warlock, a DB named Crad Oron, seems to coincide with Agent Killshot's modus operandi. In addition, this data cache also shows that the Federation of Magic is planning some sort of major attack against the Coalition, which appears in the outset to be a surprise convoy raid very deep in Chi-Town or CS, Coalition State Missouri territory. And that's where the information ends. Now, I just realized I gave you a giant fucking info dump there. So if you want me to reiterate, or if you can't remember every detail, I understand. And I can, as the campaign goes on, as the session goes on, feel free to ask questions.
All right. I would say Al would let everyone know what Inferno was saying that Al would know. He does it rather shortly and abruptly. Except when he gets to Chi-Town. He doesn't call it Chi-Town at first. He calls it home. And he would well, I'm curious. So the it depends on how the intel reports are, but he would look for specific information on a very particular section of Chi-Town, i.e. has it been attacked, has it been in danger.
And there is nowhere in that data that implies any sort of anywhere in Chi-Town has actually been attacked. Just that army groups are preparing around the area. Yeah.
All right. And then he might mumble to himself something like, "Father, what are you doing?" And that would be it.
Okie dokie. Any other questions or anything you guys would like to do in regards while you're investigating this intel that the black market provided for you?
Tom will just mutter, "That's some heavy stuff right there."
Mila has no input.
Okay, no problem. Mila doesn't need to have input all the time.
That's a lot of
your stomach
mobilization.
rebels.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Tom. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
He's just going to say that's a lot of mobilization. That's really it.
Patrick is... it looks like he's paying attention to key moments, but he seems to kind of be off. Generally muttering to himself, and every once in a while, looks like he's scratching down a few notes.
Okie dokie. So after you guys are able to digest that information, this might be a good time. I don't want to tell you what to do, but you did mention that you might want to discuss your next steps in character. And since you're all here kind of taking a look at the data, this might be a good time to broach the subject as to what to do now in Tolkien, in or out of character.
After a few scribbles and noticing that most other people have stopped talking, he goes, "Oh, was that all the information?"
August adjusts his glasses, brings a finger over your shoulder, Patrick, to tap a little bit more on the down arrow, and he says, "Yes, that appears to be all of the information. I would be tempted to open up that hard drive, but I have the suspicion that it might be hazardous to our health. If this information is proved to be true, I doubt our associates in the black market want it to fall into anyone else's hands."
No.
So what are you thinking? Like explosives or something?
Possibly some sort of detonation device, or maybe something not nearly as dramatic. August says, "I have a theory, and of course this needs to be tested, but I have a feeling this is a one-time use item. This same program that automatically executed, it will probably erase forcefully the information if it is plugged into another computing device. That's how I would do it at the very least, and I've seen similar programs run."
Patrick, think about something specifically, and then probably say out loud, "Do you think printing out the information would be trapped as well?"
I do not know. August looks at the screen. "I don't see any way we could create a print function unless you and I got very creative with the code. It's a worthy try, although there is definitely a measure of risk."
Take a picture of the screen.
August gives a little small impressed look and looks over to Mila and he says, yes, that would work."
Low tech.
Patrick has a camera. He could take a picture of it.
Patrick's already taking out the camera.
Mila looks excited. I said something right? You guys are actually following my idea?
August
Patrick
gives
looks
a
over and
Oh, go
takes
ahead.
out the pen flashlight from Mila's nose.
August can look at Mila a little bit more seriously, but the smile he gives is a small genuine. He says, sometimes overthinking things doesn't help. A more simple, direct approach comes from any mind, and it's appreciated. I'm sure we would have come to it at some point, but you're swift when it comes to these commonsensical things.
Mila blinks, not understanding a word he just said, but nodding in agreement anyway.
Eh.
You see Alicia roll her eyes in the corner of your eyes.
Patrick is smiling at Mila, clearly understanding the situation,
Mm.
and he then sorts out to take the picture, and making sure that he redoes any picture that he takes of the computer screen, like to check and recheck it to make sure that it depends on how the screen works, but taking pictures of computer screens may not be the best thing depending on the screen refresh rate, because older ones will make it so that pictures are harder to see.
I also have a video camera as well, if needed.
Well, it won't be necessarily needed, but it'll be determined. The skill of you being able to do this with very, very clear precision, I think will be relevant to a photography check, but make it harder by 10. The screen refresh rate isn't awful, but this is definitely a non-conventional use. And you want to make sure everything is completely crisp, clear, and legible.
Harder by 10. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thankfully, the monitor of the personal computer that you used was not damaged, and the LED screen does have a very good refresh rate. It only takes, there are only a few pictures that you need to retake due to accidental blurring or suboptimal conditions. But in the end, you're able to take pictures of 18 pages of data, and all of them are legible on your high pixel digital camera.
Patrick then turns to August. There you go. To August with a small smirk. Would you like to test out the limits of this now?
August nods his head and says, but perhaps for the sake of posterity, we should do this perhaps above deck and separated for any sort of critical systems. And maybe you mentioned an explosive device, and it's not something that these individuals would be against. I'm having second thoughts slightly, but if you're willing to experiment, I will too. I mean, we did, after all, get into the subsystems of the Rhapsody for a little bit.
Live a little, August!
Yes, I'm afraid that's the whole problem. If we go into the jaws of death for too long, we will be living for a very little amount of time. But
sounds like you're saying a whole lot of big words that I don't really understand. Mila pats August on the cheek and then walks away.
But yes, very well. We will take the appropriate precautions and see how best we can do this. Yes, I'm open to it.
Patrick smiles again. He goes, "Oh, I need to take a few things. I need to do a few things in town, and then I need to work on the paper. Would anybody mind taking a stop off at there was a nice man at the entrance saying things about Techno Wizard stuff."
Sure. I mean, I would be down for more flan on a stick. Also, if I recall correctly, there was a place that I wanted to take a look at in the Western Quadrant. Or the Eastern Quadrant, anyways.
Okay.
Al just stands up and says, "I think I need some air," and then starts leaving.
You gonna be okay?
Al walks out of the room.
Bear will say, "I don't think so."
Oh, Bear.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Patrick looks worried, but soon gets he basically gets back to his little tinkers and works and things like that of double checking, rechecking photos and things like that. His usual keeping himself busy.
Mm.
I have just one last little NPC minor interaction, if you guys are good with it.
Yeah.
Blink will give a worried look, a worried and sympathetic look to Al as he passes by to go up the stairs. And after he's up and assumingly out of earshot, Blink will say, he's upset by this. I'm upset with what happened too. But I acknowledge that we're going to have to do things very, very carefully with dealing with this people. We don't want to make the same mistakes as before.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, we will all need to come up with a decision to decide how involved we want to be with these criminals.
Well, I think with at least this cell, I mean, I'm not really that interested apart from getting our stuff back and being involved with these guys specifically.
She gives a bit of a smile and she says, "That's encouraging. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll speak more of this later when things are a little bit more clear. It's not a good idea to just move on raw emotion and lack of intelligence, regardless of how awful things are."
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. That's all her real contribution is. Do you guys want to? Because I know. Alan, Mina. Who's Mina? Alan, Mila
Another
have.
personality.
The fourth
Okay.
one.
How many people does she have in there?
There's so much.
Alan and Mila definitely have discussion they want to do, but I don't want to rush it along. You guys will find enough opportunity, I think. Do you guys still want to do some more in-character discussion here? Well, you just let me know. You let me know if you want to talk a little bit or if you want to just say, "Hey, Inferno, take us to our next objective," right? And I will do so.
I will say, I don't know whoever would be the first person to go up on deck.
Okay.
Probably Mila, because she just left the room looking for Al.
Oh, there you go.
You would see Al kind of adjusting his coat, and he would look up to see Mila, and he'd say, "Tell the others I'm gonna go be alone for a little while."
No, I'm not going to tell the others that.
Al shrugs and then turns to walk down the gangplank.
Nora follows you. Not saying anything, just following.
Al doesn't notice it. Al, I think, is so lost in his own thoughts. It would be quite some time before he even noticed Nora was following, if she continues to follow him.
Yeah, she'll follow. She's got nothing better to do than watching angsty Al.
Sure. I can set the scene a little bit rather than you guys
Sure.
just blandly walking down, a nameless street.
Mm-hmm.
Al and soon Nora in tow. You go down the gangplank, and you were parked in a very open lot in which a lot of small personal vehicles and a small ley line flight craft are also parked. However, since it is early in the afternoon, there isn't, for lack of a better word, a rush hour right now. And although there are still plenty of people coming and going in and out of businesses and buildings that you can see in the distance, the immediate area to you, which is a finely cobbled sidewalk of red-brown stone that are in shapes of these little hexagrams inlaid in with each other. You pretty much have the sidewalk to yourselves. And walking down, it would probably be at least a block or two. Would you say before Al would even have the slightest inclination that he's being followed by his friend?
Yeah, at least.
Okay. So in about 2 blocks, you pass by 2 warehouses, another opening business that seems to be some sort of cannery, and finally coming across a very, very small park in which a small collection of children, mostly human but a few DB, seems to be playing and enjoying the bright sun. Very, very shaded ground. In particular, this small park area is shown by a giant willow tree with the, how willow trees have those little kind of fuzzy buds on the branches.
Hmm.
Just a tree that hasn't fully sprouted, but are just filled with these willow buds completely. That is really creating a nice little picturesque a look of this little playground park area.
All right. Al would probably wander towards the park, and then the giant willow tree. Is there that or another tree that doesn't have a lot of people around it?
Well, although the willow tree itself is a big landmark of this, it is not populated by a lot of people. In fact, it's about 80 miles to the east that has the main playground equipment, in addition to some hedgeries, some shrubberies that are in the shape of what appears to be, small domestic animals like ducks and cows and horses and stuff like that. Amongst the willow tree itself and the smaller trees around it, it is not populated really by anybody whatsoever.
Okay.
For the past, few moments that you've been looking at it, no one's been passing through or even gotten within 30 feet of it.
Okay, then so if Nora's still following, I suppose it could look something like this. Al would, still oblivious and lost in his own thoughts, he would pass around the tree. And if you follow him around the tree, when you get to the other side, you would see him slumped, like sitting slumped against the tree with his knees to his chest and his face kind of buried in his knees. And very much like Al always has this kind of persona of self-confidence or a posture.
She definitely noticed that.
Yeah, there's none of that. It's almost as if, you might as well be passing like a pathetic homeless person for all this, the stance that he has.
Nora will see that, and she will give a very quiet sigh and take a seat down right next to him and not say anything.
Al would probably, he's not deaf. He noticed it by then.
I hope so. I don't want to make you roll for it, but motherfucker,
right.
You notice.
He would like look at her with one eye, and then he would be quiet for a very long time, and then he would say, Nora, I know that everyone has judged you for what you did.
For what I did?
He'll actually reach up and touch her head, like one of the well, he wouldn't know where they are, but her hair.
Yeah.
And he would say, I'm not going to pretend to know what happened to you, but sometimes things happen that we can't change, and to go through life remembering that you didn't do anything or couldn't do anything is a cruel fate. Sometimes I understand why you did what you did.
Nora will stare at him. Her expression doesn't really change, but it's probably a look of confusion as to where did this come from. And then she will grab his hand and bring it down. Al, what I did, it was what I assume to escape. There is nothing good that could come from what I did.
Al nods. And he says, I don't think I would do it, but damn it if I don't understand how hard it could be not to sometimes. How seductive forgetting could be.
Where is this coming from, Al?
Al's quiet for a while. I saved their lives just to have him gun them down and do nothing about it.
She nods. You can't save everyone, Al.
No, but I could have saved them, and I
No,
didn't.
Al, you couldn't have saved them. Their fates were already sealed with the man they were dealing with. They knew the risks. You can't blame yourself. If you save their lives today, their lives tomorrow could have ended just as easily.
Al very slowly nods, staring at Nora, and he says, "Tell me something, Nora. Whatever happened to you, did you have the power to stop it?"
Nora will shrug. Your
Knowing
guess
you,
is as good as mine.
he nods. He says, "Knowing you, I would guess not. And I doubt that fact made you feel any better about it. Everything you just said, I've told myself the entire way back to the ship. It doesn't change." He sighs. "It doesn't change how difficult it is."
No, it doesn't.
I don't mean to suggest that I'm glad you did what you did or that I thought it was the best option. I'm simply saying that if I ever judged you for it, I was a fool.
Nora looks especially taken aback by that last statement. She quickly recomposes herself and sort of shrugs. I guess I'm asking for it at this point, with how unpredictable Mila and I can be. It's not anyone's fault, it just is the way it is.
Al nods and then he kind of closes his eyes and puts his head back and says, "Though, I suppose on the bright side, Mila wouldn't exist. And Mila is a wonderful person."
She is.
Al's quiet for a very, very long time. And then he says, "We don't get along a lot, I know. And we don't always see eye to eye. I get that.
I'm
But-
sensing a butt. There it is. She says, her head drops back next to Al's.
Al's like, he kind of like half grins when she did that. And then he says, "But I'm done judging you. Ever."
That's a tall thing to say. How are you expect? How are you gonna expect to get anything done if you don't judge me? My judgment is as good as yours.
Al,
Which is not good, by the way, Al. She says as he doesn't respond right away.
Al shakes his head. He says, there's different types of judgment. I'm not saying that I'm not going to try and read your mood. That's a one-way ticket to a dislocated shoulder. What I'm saying is it can be really easy to judge if someone was right or wrong, or if they were doing something the way they should have. And I admit I tend to do that a lot. And if today showed me anything, is that I don't understand half of what I think I do.
You only know what you know, Al.
He shrugs. I know that I want to be a good guy, and every time I turn around, this world wants to make me a monster.
Yeah,
I know
well,
that.
unfortunately, that's not you. That's just the world we live in.
He sighs and then puts his head back against the tree. Well, if you could get on fixing that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, no. By the way, Al, when you were going over that hard drive or whatever, couldn't help but notice you referred to one of the places as home.
Chi-Town.
Mm-hmm. Any regrets there?
I miss my sister.
Mm.
My father, I suppose, though our relationship was never one you would consider close. Well, he was a good father. That's being unkind, but he was also very strict.
Mm.
But my sister, I don't know how she's getting along without me. But what can I do? It's not like I can go back to Chi-Town.
No.
Al hesitates. But there is a comfort there, knowing that there is family. Look, as I said, I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what you went through, but if there is anyone or anything, Al shrugs. We're here for you. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Nora instantly looks uncomfortable remembering what she and Bear had talked about the earlier that day or the day before. I don't remember when exactly it was.
Oh,
I
when?
think it was that day.
It was
Yeah,
I
early
think it
that
was
day.
Yeah, that's what
it
I
was
thought.
early that
Okay.
day. Yeah.
And she looks she kind of tenses up immediately, regaining that same kind of composure she had.
Al sees it and then he nods and then immediately changes the subject. Or in an attempt to immediately change the subject, he stands up, kind of dusts off his pants, and he says, well, I think that's enough sulking for one day. I need to go. I realize that I am sorely lacking in case someone gets hurt. I need to go buy some sort of trauma kit or something so that I don't have to use my belt next time.
Yeah, I'll meet you back at the thing. The she just gets up and walks away.
Al looks after her for a while and then turns around and then goes to try and find a shop.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a heads up. You're going to try to find a shop on foot?
Yes, and he doesn't have the map.
Yeah.
It's fine. Al's not in a hurry to get back to the company at the moment. I mean, despite his talk with Nora, he still probably could use some alone time. So he's going to just kind of ask people to direct him and try and find it on his own with no streetwise or anything.
Okay. So I got a question for the rest of the party. Are you going to bother going anywhere now that Al is missing?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Oh no!
Where after Patrick has done everything, notice that Mila and Al are gone.
Yeah, I'm sure Alicia would actually report this first off.
Did they say when they're coming back?
Alicia said no. She said I just went up and I saw them both leave the yacht here.
Oh, please have your radios. And he's gonna flip on his own personal radio. Is Al or Mila either of you on this frequency?
I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm not gonna be in a, you know what I mean?
He's saying this directly into his.
You hear coming from Mila's room, "Hey guys, this is Patrick. Are you Mila? Or, I don't know what you said, but are you on this frequency?" Well, Mila is. It's just in a room.
Okay, so Mila's radio isn't there.
I'm gonna have to say Al's is. If nothing else, instinct would probably keep it with him. So, would this be? I don't know. When would this be as in relation to what just happened?
Well, let's talk about it. What we could do in game is have Patrick and August look into the computer, and after they're done with that, comes the realization, and that would sync up really well with the end of Nora and Al's conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Or this can be made within 5 minutes of them leaving, and the call will come out like as they're still walking to the park.
Why don't we sync things up?
Either's fine, yeah. All right, so we'll sync things up. So we'll say it's right after the conversation.
Okay. So then maybe let's put that on pause, and why don't we have Patrick and August's computer adventures happen, if that's okay by you guys?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So is that something that you're up to doing right now, Piph?
I think Patrick was actually going to wait for Al to come back because he's fairly knowledgeable about explosives since that was
okay. Then why don't we do it while they were walking?
All right.
Al would pick up the radio and he would say, "I'm here, Patrick. I'm just going out for a walk. I'm going to be by myself for a while."
We kind of need to get to the other side of Tolkien. Is out of just a quick calculation, is that out of the range of the frequency of like a normal?
Oh, like 5 miles.
Yeah, I was just checking like the distance of this to make sure that like if we actually did go to pretty much the other side of Tolkien, that it would.
Remember I explained the square footage of Tolkien was like, what did I say it was? It was like in the hundreds, right?
Like 300 or 400?
Yeah.
If I recall correctly? Something like that?
So, no. You won't still be in radio contact between, say, the east side of Tolkien and the west side of Tolkien. Not with your little hand radios.
Yeah. We would be out of contact.
Body armor or something? Mhm.
Yeah, we would be out of contact if we went to where we're going. Should we wait for you? And do you know where Mila is?
Um, actually, okay, yeah. Al switched his radio off after he said, "I'm gonna
You're
be
an
by myself." for a
asshole.
while."
No, I understand he's his own mind space, but poor Patrick is like, oh, so we're gonna be hello?
Hey.
All
Yeah.
right.
So to be fair, so basically it was like I'm just gonna be by myself for a while and then click.
So it'll be up to, honestly, I think it should be up to Patrick and Tom and the NPCs what they should do with the ship.
I think so too. Smiles evilly.
Patrick wanders back down to where the group is, or if they're above deck, wherever they may be.
Well, Alicia and Blink have their radio, actually, and Bear have their radios on them, and August is quickly brought to light of the situation. But I will say Blink.
Okay. So I guess we'll wait for Al. What should we do about Mila?
Before the NPCs say anything, maybe we'll give Tom a chance to bring his perspective in here, since Bern hasn't said anything in a while.
Well, here are options. We wait, or we wait, because she didn't take her radio. Unless you guys want to go out and try and find her.
Blink does say the sooner we go, the more likely we're going to find her. I mean, it will be somewhat difficult, but it might be better than just waiting around.
True.
However, we might leave. Well, as long as we have our radios on us, we shouldn't have a problem with communication.
Yeah. But I mean, we still have to wait for Al anyways. So
Bear pipes up. It depends if it is Mila or Nora, but I am uncomfortable with Mila wandering by herself in a relatively unknown location.
All right. Let's go find Nora. He looks around the ship. Should we have this with us? Have like a ground team and somebody who's.
Alicia shakes her head and she says, this thing is pretty big and some of the streets it can't go down. I say just one or two of us stay here as radio contacts. The rest of us go out looking.
Patrick will nod.
August volunteers to stay at the yacht.
Tom will, right after that, volunteer to go and find me.
Bear's definitely going to go out and to find Mila. And Alicia gives August a hard time. She says, you think you can hold things down by yourself? No problem there? And August gives a somewhat confident nod. Alicia says, okay, well then we'll all go and leave Captain Crackerjack here to look after our ship.
Patrick, without too much questioning or anything like that, will readily do a short nod and get moving off the boat.
Okay, so we're going to make this nice and easy because we don't want to spend a ton of time on this. We're going to do a basic skill check. Those of you who have any sort of land navigation or streetwise skill checks, look on your character sheets and let me know and roll it up, and I'll roll for the NPCs.
I have both.
Okay, so roll both. Let me know how much you succeed or fail by. No penalties. Oh, wow. Okay.
It was streetwise and what now?
Like land navigation or like directional type of stuff. Yeah.
I do have navigation, so
Sure.
skill roll.
Because in my opinion, land navigation helps with like directions, north, south, east, west, and distances.
I succeeded
Okay.
by 40%.
Okay. And how much did you succeed by, Patrick? Oh, 21.
Mhm.
Oh, and 31. Okay,
I
21.
failed by
Mhm.
31.
Oh, you did. Okay, all right. So we're going to say, feel free to correct me, but we're going to break it up into groups. We're going to say Blink, Blink and Alicia, Tom and Patrick, and Bear. Tom and Patrick as a group, Blink and Alicia as a group, and Bear by himself. Patrick and Tom, you managed to get to Nora first. She is. Where would Nora be doing at this point?
It looks like she's punching that tree that Al and her were sitting at.
Oh.
It's kind of weird.
Okay.
So then that's Nora.
Yep. You find her. What would you like to do?
Hey, so how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. How are you?
Not the best.
No?
No.
Too bad. She
Is-
says, being just the kindness she had showed Al is just completely gone, and the moments that Al had left her alone, only rage crept in for some reason.
Mhm.
So-
Is everything okay?
She doesn't say anything.
Give me a second, and Patrick will notify the others that we found Mila.
Okay.
Tom will correct him and say Nora.
So Alicia will get on the radio and say, "Shall we meet back on the ship, or should we look for Al too?"
This might take a bit.
So keep looking in the meantime.
Mm, Al would probably, uh, he could probably find his way back, I think. And Patrick looks up to Nora and asks, do you know where Al went?
He said he was gonna go find. She stops and looks at them. He needed more medical supplies or something. I don't know what he expects to find out. And she motions around to the park, but she shrugs.
It's not even the shopping district.
I
Mm,
think he just wanted to be by himself or
Yeah.
whatever.
okay.
Why? What's
He
going
gets-
on?
He gets back on. We're just trying to figure out where everyone went. Gets back on the radio. You may want to keep looking for Al. I don't know where he's going.
Okay. You get an affirmative from the NPCs.
Patrick then hooks his radio to his belt loop and turns back to Mila. Actually, looks generally concerned about what's going on.
Al is fine, she says,
No,
looking at the dent that she made in the tree.
that's good, but it doesn't. Looks at the tree. Doesn't look like everything's okay.
She crosses her arms.
Uh, I know that I haven't been completely around for people to talk to, and I'd like to fix that now. Uh, what something is bothering you?
She kind of smirks at that because it's that obvious. She even realizes it.
Mm-hmm.
She shrugs. Bear wants to figure out what happened to our town.
Oh. Well, do you want to do that?
I don't know. And then she turns and slams her fist into the tree at that.
In the background, you hear a shrill feminine voice being like, "Hey, you! What are you doing to our tree?"
She ignores the shrill voice and turns back and looks at Patrick and Tom.
Well, it really is completely up to. He stops for a moment. The decision is really up to you. Um, it does sound like Bear has been interested in this, but he looks back at the tree. I can see there's differences of opinion.
I don't know. She stops herself and shrugs.
Mila, Nora, and he furrows his brows and closes his eyes at that.
I was gonna say, if you're looking at her face, you actually calling her Mila this time makes her wince.
I have known you for a while now, and from what I've seen, I I know this is probably a complicated issue, especially to you, and I don't want to see the other side of you again. We all know the one.
Mm. Yeah.
If that really is a danger, a realistic danger, then I don't want anything to do with it.
She stares at Patrick for a long time, kind of glances over to see what Tom is doing.
He's just kind of rocking back and forth on his feet, looking awkwardly at both of them.
Hmm. I don't know what I want.
Well, Patrick Patrick looks actually like troubled. He's not quite like he wants to say something and then just looks like something's not right, and he keeps going back and forth between trying to say something and just that's not right.
She she'll kind of kick the ground and look up and stare at them and says, well, it's really not a priority right now anyway, so we shouldn't worry about it. We'll cross that bridge once we get there.
Yeah.
If we get there.
Well, I mean, if it's what you want to do in the future,
If
Tom's
we
going
get
to,
there.
but I'm willing to help.
She looks grateful for a moment at Tom before her resting bitch face sets in.
The old RBF.
And she'll nod and say, well, we should probably get out of here.
Yeah. We were thinking of going to the Eastern District
Great.
for a bit. But,
Sounds great.
We're probably not gonna go without Al. We shouldn't go without Al. 'Cause that would
Al's
be
a big
bad
boy.
idea.
He's a big boy. He knows what he's doing.
Do you
She
wanna-
says, like,
do you wanna
not
go
giving a
without
shit.
Al?
She shrugs.
Wow, what did you guys talk about?
Nothing. We actually had a beautiful conversation. She
Oh.
says, very monotoned.
Patrick
Alright.
looks up. That's sarcasm, right? Did I get that one?
Was that
she
sarcasm?
she looks at them and actually smiles. I don't know, was it?
I don't know. I can't tell what kind of mood you're in half the time.
Neither can I. Try living in this body. Tell
I
you.
don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to either, big guy, she says, and she'll kind of pat Tom on the face.
Patrick will actually go, this conversation is too weird, and starts walking away.
Okay. So is it good to wrap the scene up here? You
Yeah, I
guys are
think
going to head
so.
back to the ship. So my
Yeah.
question is very simple. There's a metagame question and there's an endgame question. The metagame question is, do you guys want to split the party? Because if you want to split the party and have you guys, the bulk of the crew, go over to the eastern side and have Al do solo adventures and find his way back to wherever you guys are, feel free, but he's turned off his radio and you might be out of radio contact. You guys could be separated for quite a bit of time, which is fine, but I just want you to know that I'm going to be splitting attention between you guys. Or you guys can wait for Al and we can go through a narrative thing, and when you guys meet up, do what you need to do. So really the first question is, do you guys want to split the party?
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Which quadrant are we in right now?
You're in the western quadrant.
Okay.
No, I lied. You're in the north. I started
Northern.
off saying you were in the northern quadrant. You're in the northern quadrant.
Okay.
Fuck, wait a second. I'd rather be accurate than consistent, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
No, I took you guys to the eastern quadrant. The western quadrant. I took you to the western quadrant. That's right, because the shop was in the printers was in the east. Wait. I know exactly how to do this.
We
It's
were in
it,
that-
I got to read the quadrant descriptions that says it has the most amount of warehouses in it. So give me a moment, and I can just confirm. Yeah, definitely not eastern. Nope, not northern. Yeah, it is western. It is western. Yep. Yep.
If I remember correctly, in the Western Quadrant, there aren't medical shops and things like that.
Nope, there's a hospital, but yeah, there
Right.
isn't. Yeah.
I have a decent way to solve the dilemma if you guys don't want to split the party, which I'm fine not splitting the party, which would be like in a few minutes you get a call from Al. Or Al, I guess, would just
Even
show
a half
back up
hour.
at the ship and be like, they didn't have anything. You know, like,
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was gonna make you do like streetwise checks and whatnot,
he's got
but it
no
is very clear.
streetwise.
Exactly. So it'll be very clear
Like-
within a short period of time that you don't. What you're looking for is not here. Clearly.
Wait,
Yeah.
I think actually I have an idea, and this would be perfect considering it's true. Al has no streetwise. Can I roll a check to see if he even like if he gets lost?
Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah. Roll it. We're
I
gonna
can
say there's a
imagine it would
30.
be.
I'm gonna say there's a 30% chance you get like completely lost, where you have to like totally retrace your steps. Make sense?
Yes.
So you want to get 30 or under. You actually wait a sec. You want to get 70 or under to not get lost.
Got it. Yes. Okay. Then Al would show back up probably within about 15 minutes or so. However long it would
Perfect.
take for someone to go, idiot, there's no stores here.
Well, there are stores, but definitely not what you need. It's mostly
Right.
a warehousing area, right? Maybe
Right.
a few eateries or whatnot, but nothing. You've even asked around a little bit to the denizens of Tolkien that are friendly,
Mhm.
and most of them point you towards Expedition Expeditors Limited, which is in the south of
Yeah.
Tolkien.
There
Mhm.
is one shopping mall. That's it, and it's got a
Yeah.
small cluster of shops and a restaurant. But that's
Yeah.
that's really it.
Yeah, so
Right.
they're definitely not in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Al would just show back up
All
on the
right.
ship.
So we're all back together as a group. Yay! So what do you guys
Yay.
want to do next as a group?
Patrick wants to do something.
Okay.
Once everyone's back on the ship, he's actually going to call up Mila and well, it's going to be Nora now, but Nora and Al.
Okay.
Like to the top deck?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear Patrick dulcetly calling your names.
Al would follow the dulcet tones.
I'm just teasing. Patrick is many things, but he is not dulcet.
You know, that's up for interpretation. Nora finds it quite soothing. She follows the voice.
Okay. All right. The three of you assemble.
Yes.
Patrick looks slightly worried, takes a deep breath, and looks like he's trying to steel himself for something. Please
No.
don't do that again. Especially when we were in the nest of the black market. 2 people got shot, I'm assuming, and you both decided to go without telling anybody anything.
I actually told Nora to tell you I was going to go for a walk.
Are you going to blame this one on me? She says, looking at Al.
That's what it kind of sounds like.
Al
smiling.
shakes his head and he says, look, Patrick, I'm sorry you were worried, but I'm an adult. I don't need permission to go for a walk.
I don't need a permission for you to go on a walk. But I'm also not going to assume the best after the worst.
Al sighs and he says, look, I had my radio with me. If anything went wrong, I'd be able to contact you. I just needed some space. I think that's allowed. In fact, you even contacted me and I told you.
But before you could tell us where you were, what you were doing, you shut it off.
Again, Patrick, I don't need babysitters. If I want to be alone, I think it's anyone's right to be alone for a while. As I said, I had the radio. If I needed anything, I could contact you. Do you want us to start filing a check report anytime we go anywhere?
What I want to know is if my friends are going to be okay. And I assume the best in most cases. This was not a good time. That is probably the reason why you left. It's probably the same reason why I was worried.
Plus, I mean, remember last time somebody just inexplicably left and disappeared?
Al looks at Tom and says, I didn't just disappear. I told 2 people that I was going to be alone for a while. Again, are you suggesting that we need to have some sort of buddy system at all times? I get it. You were worried, and I really am sorry about that. But I think anyone here, if they need to go be by themselves for a while, they have every right to do so.
There are no NPCs in this conversation, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll just say, unless you guys want them to be, but we're going to say no. We'll just keep it amongst you guys.
Okay. Do what you want to do. Then Tom will start leaving.
Al says, I'll tell you what, Patrick. I will at least promise not to turn my radio off in the future. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Al kind of looks at Patrick and how frustrated he is, and he sighs again. He says, Patrick, I get it. And I'm sorry. I am. But if I stayed here, I might have said something or exploded or did something that I would have regretted later. I needed some time alone. I am sorry that upset you. I am.
Patrick actually looks really frustrated and doesn't seem like it's directly like at you or pretty much anything else. Just he looks extremely frustrated. And he goes, I know how you feel. There's been many a time when people die around us, I try to distance myself as much as possible. Probably by the same means you do, by walking away. I try to keep my mind off things. I try to look at the positives of things. But the one thing I'm going to try to do, what I have been trying to do, is to be there for everyone else. Because they're going through the same thing I am.
I appreciate that more than you know. Though I would caution that there are times when support is needed and desperately wanted, but there are also times where people just have to figure things out on their own. Fortunately, I don't seem to be in that position very often. But today, if it were not for the fact that it would put us in more danger, I probably would have murdered a man in cold blood today. And that, nothing about what I just said sits well with me. I just needed some time. He kind of pauses. I don't know, just time. But I'm okay now.
Patrick is currently kind of glazed eye looking away from you towards the floor. Not really saying much of anything, but looks rather physically rigid.
And scene?
I think. Well, I would think Al would look to Nora to see what she's doing.
Nora actually looks like she has a very pained expression on her face, but she says nothing.
Al would see the pained expression and say, "Did I upset you too?"
No. Are we done here?
Al shrugs.
She looks at Patrick.
As Elle says, you don't need permission from me.
Good, I wasn't expecting any. And Nora, back to her normal self, walks away.
Shit. All right.
Even
And-
in his horrible state of mind right now, even Al's just like thinking, like, that's cold.
Yep. Yep, it is.
Deal with it. All right. Sorry. Is there anything you guys want to say to each other in character, or shall we switch to a more
no.
narrative?
Yeah,
Locked
no,
himself
I
in his fucking room.
I think
Okay.
we're good. Yeah.
So everyone's really happy. Nothing
Ooh.
bad has ever
Yeah.
happened, and everything is great. Okay, good to know. All right. So. Cool. All right. So what do you guys want to do as a group? It's about like 2:00 in the afternoon right now. There was talk of, I don't know if anyone's in the mood for this. You know what I mean? Like, well, let's slip it to a more narrative space, right? So we can, tick the day along a little bit faster. Not to say, I mean, this drama stuff is great. Don't get me wrong, right? But there were a few things that are thrown into the air. Let me bring them down. It was investigating the hard drive, poking around with that. There was visiting the Tolkien open air market in the Eastern Quadrant. There was something that Tom cryptically said he wanted to check out on the Eastern Quadrant. And then did I hear something about printing? Or did I mishear that?
You misheard.
Okay.
Chat has been going on about printing for a while.
No, I could have swore I said I heard Piph or Patrick say
Yeah.
wanted to print
about-
off something.
Yeah, the things that were on the hard drive. And then Mila said, why don't we just take a picture of it?
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, thank you.
As
thank
said
you,
by
thank
the rooster. Rooster of
All right.
confirmation.
you. Yes.
Yes, the
thank
rooster of
you.
confirmation.
Excellent.
Tom,
Okay, so
actually, as soon as we enter the Eastern Quadrant, Tom will ask to go to be dropped off near a tower. A big, huge, shining tower. That is fairly large, actually. It's at least 10 stories tall.
well, let's not put the cart before the horse. Do you guys want to head over to the Eastern Quadrant?
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
I thought that was the plan anyways. So.
Well, yeah, I just want to confirm. There could be a change of. So, let's let's go with the narrative way. And now, just so I don't scan all the descriptions in the Eastern Quadrant, do you want to tell me where you want them actually to drop off for me?
At the
Tom?
Tech Center Tower
Tech Center.
to look at some sweet Techno Wizard gear.
Oh no. Okay.
Al would actually.
I'm saying oh no because I don't have anything prepared.
Shit. Okay, I thought you had something prepared for everything.
I could come up. I do, but this is a very big city and there's a lot of businesses. I have some.
Oh.
No, I have some stuff. Don't worry. I can do it. I can do what he says as he hastily throws puzzle pieces together.
Hey, I warned you that I was interested in
I know.
looking
I
at
know.
5 specific things.
I know.
Al would actually also spend some time looking at the map, looking for medical distributor.
Okay, so how about this? How about this? I got an idea. Happy little idea here. Let's go to a more narrative sense, right? And you guys can do whatever you want, but certain item lists might show up at a certain time that
Oh yeah,
isn't
I
now.
don't need an item list right now.
That
We
isn't
can
now.
retro it. I
Oh,
just
okay,
want him
okay.
to take a look at stuff. Like
Oh,
go
I can give you
inside.
descriptions.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do that. Oh, yeah, I can
Yeah.
do that. That's no problem. Oh, because when you said you want to look at Techno Wizard stuff, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
No,
That's
that
pretty
can wait
neat.
until after the session. That's
All right.
fine.
So how about we knock down a few things that you guys want to do, and you'd maybe do them as a group or as small groups, right? Just to kind of knock things along. Sound
Yeah,
good?
actually,
Kind
yeah,
of
because I
give it
mean,
the old new Laszlo treatment.
because nothing like I would be interested in going to techno wizard stuff too.
Mhm.
And I'll even say that since we're in outer space, as they travel, he will get his disposition will get better and better.
Okay.
So
So you're saying you want to go with Tom?
sure.
Okay,
Sure.
you're gonna have to roleplay that.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. How about this? Can I suggest something? Let's suggest 3 things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
3 things you guys want to do in the afternoon. All right, and we'll take each of those things as an own little miniature theme and kind of knock them down one by one. How does that sound?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so thing 1 is the tech center, right? The tech tower. Yeah, tech center tower. There we go. All the words. That's one thing. A medical establishment is another. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is another thing you guys want to do? I know one of the big suggestions that's come up a few times already is approaching that techno wizard that was shouting things out in the
Yeah.
big free
Yes,
market, right?
yes,
Piph wanted
yes,
to do that.
definitely.
Okay. Great.
I'd want to as well. All those things sound like fun things. So
Okay. I could add in a 4th thing if there's something that that's a little bit more Mila Nora interested, so it's not all, us nerdy guy stuff if you want Criana face.
Nerdy guy stuff.
I know, eh?
No, Nora will probably just I don't know.
Okay, I have some things in mind, so it won't be completely, I like to throw in little random encounters in between stuff. So, but let's do that. We'll deal with the afternoon in Tolkien, okay? So I'm going to just take a quick break because I just need to use the washroom. I want you guys to decide what of those 3 things you want to do first, and I'll get things set up. Okay?
okay.
All right.
I want a pony first.
You get nothing.
I think with sulky emo Al, the best thing for him right now
Is
is
a
a
pony?
pony.
Yeah.
Is a pony.
Oh,
And not a real one that poops, but like a real one, but that's genetically engineered not to poop.
Oh God, no! I had a really bad thing that I was gonna
Let me
say.
grab
That's
water.
terrible.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna go grab a drink too while we're on
Okay,
break.
so 5-minute break, guys. 5-minute break. Hey, Piph.
You.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because you weren't talking, like at all, for a while.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Still here. I'm gonna catch up with chat.
Yep. I hope things are going by smoothly. I did notice a while ago that people were saying that my audio was super low. And I hope that it's a lot better. I'll try and audio balance things. Again, this is a brand new computer that I just put together yesterday. So I didn't really get much time to set everything up. Like I stayed up until 4 in the morning last night just trying to get this overlay done, along with certain other things, because I was having trouble getting window captures to work with Windows 10. It still is. Well, fuck. Everybody else is probably going to be inconsistent if I turn them down. That's the only thing that is preventing me from turning everybody else down, Grim. But thank you for letting me know.
Is there anything you want to tell the chat, Piph?
You all are beautiful.
Okay. You know what? I guess I'll I guess I'll
Sexy
turn
even.
people down. Can you try and talk, Piph?
No,
Okay.
talking's hard.
How does this sound compared to them now?
Yellow baby
boss of
buggy
me
bumper.
now. You're not the boss of me now.
Yes.
You're not. Hi. Is
Hey.
Inferno
No,
back? Oh, he must be pooping. Probably pooping there.
they're
Probably
grabbing
pooping.
drinks.
You know, I think after a little while, Nora's gonna come find Patrick and apologize. Thinking
Is
about
she?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
think this would make her feel really bad for what she said. If it's sort of in the moment anger. So we'll cross that bridge once we get there, but she was not happy.
So the audio levels sound a lot better, right, guys?
Are you testing audio?
Yeah.
That's always fun. Especially, I love fucking testing audio on the live stream.
Yeah.
Because
I personally didn't notice the difference, but apparently the difference between yours and mine has been huge for a while. Not yours specifically, but everybody else's.
the group, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
fun.
Burnley do. Okay.
Audio
Everything
level
sounds
is
good.
one that always like gets me when it
Yeah.
comes to streaming. It's the one real killer.
No, they don't sound a lot better.
Do we have a trusted person saying this? Your volume has maybe increased 2%. Oh, hi, Grim.
That's grim.
Yeah.
I turned
So
everybody
no,
else
absolutely
down.
not.
Yeah, okay. So
Do not believe.
Let's turn everybody else down by another 10%, I guess. How does that sound now? Talk, Piph, please.
I don't want to.
You don't want to.
I'm shy. I'm shy all of a sudden.
I'm Al.
I'm
Oh,
Al.
God.
This is my Al voice. Hoo hoo. Everyone hates me because I'm an elf.
Increase things by 2,000%?
Somebody be trolling.
Yeah.
Because 2,000% ain't a number. Well, it is, but not a number that's viable in this
It's
situation.
not an actual percent.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm back.
Literally, percent means maximum 100.
Literally, it means maximum.
Naturally.
Yeah. Has anyone else ever gotten in an argument with their PE coach that 110% is impossible?
Yeah.
No, I just assume he doesn't math so good.
Like I once, and I was in high school or something. And
Oh, I bet you're a little shit.
Actually, I was a very antisocial kid, but that one day, I was not having a good day, and he was like, "Come on, Steven, give 110%." And I was like, "That's not possible."
I do have a headset volume. That's why I didn't even realize that was a thing, because my headset volume was set at like 30%. So that's why everybody sounded fine on my end, but wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back.
So sorry again. Brand new computer and all that. Oh, I'm fine with hearing them on my end. Raising or lowering the volume on my headset doesn't affect Jack for the stream.
Aw, poor Jack.
Oh yeah, poor Jack. Yeah.
My high school experiences with math was very nerdy, where I got really excited when I could prove 0.9 repeating is exactly equal to 1.
Well, yeah.
I was like, yeah, hey, look at this.
Don't
Science
say,
teacher.
well, yeah, like that's a commonly accepted thing. You may understand, but it's not like the average person's like, well, yeah, duh. Most people are like, no, it's not.
No, as in, like, equivocally, it is the same number. There is no difference between the two.
I agree. That is a feat if you can convince people of that.
Okie dokie. Hi. I'm back.
Hi.
Hello.
Clearly. Obviously. You guys good to go? Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, I think we are good to go.
Great.
I'm
So-
excited.
I'm
Yeah,
back.
Me too. Great. Oh, welcome back, Criana. That answers our question: is if we're all here.
Yeah.
Did you guys decide which place you want to visit first?
Oh,
like
right.
I-
We were supposed to do that.
Yeah, like I
You
said, everybody,
motherfuckers.
dude, everybody left pretty much except for me and Piph, and then
Oh,
we were
okay.
talking about audio
Matt.
levels and audio balancing.
Oh,
So-
sexy.
Sorry.
All right. So decide what you want to do first: tech center tower, medical supply place, depository, or hunt down that techno. Well, go back to the open market and track down that Barker techno wizard or a similar techno wizard.
Tom wants to go to the tech center tower by himself, specifically.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you said we were going to roleplay that. However, I mean, we can still, certainly, of course. But Al's not such a big hypocrite that he's going to be, after he just said sometimes people need to be by themselves, he's going to force himself
Well,
to come
I mean-
alone.
That would be
literally,
hilarious.
the whole roleplay would be, "Oh yeah, I want to go too." No, I think it should just be me because he will just stare straight at you. I think I need to be by myself.
Lol.
That would be the entire roleplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Al would let him go by himself.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know. Do you want to do the tech center tower thing first? Do you want to do another thing first? Or should I just decide? I can just decide.
You decide.
I'm fine with them doing that first.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. So in the essence of getting things forward, we'll fuck it. We're going to just do things in the order that I
Do it
just said
live.
them.
Do it
All right.
live.
We're doing it live. We're doing it live. All right. So the Tech Center Tower, as Byrne had alluded to before, is a tall, about 10-story building. It is a 10-story building in the shape of a tower. Now, this tower isn't completely circular. It appears actually to be, as one would assume, it is actually in a oval shape, and a much more thin, a very, very thin oval, for lack of a better word. Makes no fucking sense, but regardless, we're going to continue on. This tower seems to be made, unlike many of the others, most of the other structures here in Tolkien, which are made of, appears to be stone or some sort of stonework. This is one of the few buildings that seems to be made of both a combination of metals and what appears to be synthetic plastics. In fact, various squares amongst the tower, which one would assume would be windows, and in fact appear to be some form of plastic shade that from time to time reflect a variety of colors, from reds to blues to greens to yellows to purples and onward. This seems to be done randomly with no discernible pattern. Inside the Tech Center Tower, which has a large and spacious, clean lobby made of very, very deep green marble stone slabs on the ground, articulated by silver and gold railings and other such equally colored and painted bits of furniture, a small lounge area, a small, for lack of a better word, tiny restaurant or cafe that serves individuals in the towers itself. Suffice to say, in a very general sense, the first 6 floors, which are accessible by either a glass elevator that appears to be mechanized not by any sort of mechanical pulley system or elevator system, but instead appears to levitate straight from the ground, going to the floors that are needed. You can either get there by glass elevator or by a series of stairs that appear to move magically on their own, once again with no clear external mechanism driving it. The first 6 floors are stores and other facilities that sell techno-wizard gear, both bionics, armor, communication, surveillance equipment, cameras, recording equipment, electronics, and so whatnot. Also on the 5th floor is a full suite that offers services of a doctor. Give me a moment. Wrong document, Inferno. Don't scroll up and down. by a Dr. Fivel Brook, which advertises at the very least as the cleanest, most efficient, and least expensive doctor of cybernetics and bionics in Tolkien. That's what the bold and loud advertisements, both visual and auditory, proclaim all amongst the fifth floor. Out of character, Tom, I will be providing a list of Techno Wizard equipment that is available in Tolkien, and much of this list is applicable to purchasing them here. Unfortunately, I don't have that right now. I can give it to you in between sessions, and if Tom at some point decides to visit some of the businesses here and purchase something, we can say you retroactively made that purchase. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Wonderful. Then, is there anything really in particular that you're looking for, or are you really just using this as a browsing shopping opportunity?
Browsing, shopping, getting away from Al opportunity, honestly.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to just add a little bit more color to this as well. When you get up on the 6 floors, you notice that there is another glass elevator, except this one isn't transparent. It seems to be made of almost like a thick onyx colored glass that is tinted so much that you can't see who is going in. Well, you can see who's going in it, but you can't see, inside the elevator itself, unlike what appears to be the commercial elevator that services the first 6 floors. This one goes up a further 4 floors, and it's clear by the security personnel and the individuals who go in and out of the elevator that this appears to be something of either a higher class of purchasers, or perhaps researchers or similar businessmen. You find a collection of individuals going in and out. About half of them are DBs, half of them are not DBs, but many of them are dressed very well, but in a very strange and diverse form of dress. You notice some clothes that you've seen in Ishpeming. You see some frontier clothing on them. You see some very, very alien designs and very alien materials. In particular, one female researcher who appears to be human, who has this giant blonde beehive hairdo. The formal lab coat that she has actually extends all the way down to her feet, almost like a lab coat that goes into a dress. And the material itself looks like she's wearing liquid water, except this water itself is this really deep burnished orange color. But as she moves, it ripples completely. And it's very, very hypnotic, even looking at it. In addition, when you're on the 3rd floor browsing around, you see a giant glowing banner. Now, you've seen plenty of paper and fabric banners plastered all over Tolkien, identifying certain festivals or certain areas to mark off certain areas. But this one is unique because the banner itself actually appears to have this very clear plastic backing. And from time to time, an illuminate message appears almost like it's coming out of vapor and crystallizing in this glass, in this plasticky glass, I guess. Words. It is clearly not electrical whatsoever, and you definitely get the sense that it is, once again, a part of this techno wizardry. And this little banner advertises the following: televised debate. Mida Elkis of the Circle of 12 versus Orion Bedouin of the College of Magic. Topics include necromancy rites, Emperor Call Prozac, and the appropriate response to visions and signs. Tonight, Channel 3, 10 o'clock, repeats at 11, midnight, and the following day at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Neat.
Do you feel is that pretty good for that scene?
Yeah.
Can we wrap up your visit there?
Yeah, I think so.
Give me sure, give me a friendly reminder in case if you hear nothing from me the next few days to kind of get my little butt in gear, so I can give you ample time to browse cool
I-
techno wizardry stuff.
I can remind you during or after 3 Galaxies. How about
Okay,
that?
that's a good appropriate time. How about give me a few days? Groovy.
So, yeah.
Okay, on to the next, which is looking for. I will be asking around in the eastern quadrant of Tolkien for someplace that sells medical gear, right? Specifically, probably something for um, field work or field trauma or something for the adventure life, something that's portable, right? You're not
Right.
looking for medical gear like a freaking portable, like an install CAT scan or something like that, right? You're looking for something consumer level.
This? No. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, although when you ask around and browse around and even look on your map, you do notice a lot of recommendations of a establishment called Explorers Expeditors Limited in the south. Asking around in the eastern quadrant does actually get you to another establishment. However, it appears to be somewhat non-conventional. From asking around from, friendly passersby, and once again reconfirming it on your little holo map, for lack of a better word. This place is called MedX Alchemy, and a little slogan underneath of it that even pops up in the holographic map says, "Unconventional treatment for unconventional times. Satisfaction guaranteed." Would this seem like? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Al hesitates before going in because
Okay.
Al is trained conventionally. But yes,
He sure was.
he will go in.
Now, I'm going to leave this very open for it to be a solo encounter or a group
Sure.
encounter as I explain this. So, have the other players, you can insert yourself into this, interact as much as you like. So, first and foremost, let me actually describe the establishment as well. It is once again found in the northern section of the business district. However, this is far, far, far to the east. I'm going to actually ping the business right there. It's this little tiny square there in the corner there. Keep on pinging.
Yep, I got you.
You got it? Okay, so
Mhm.
that's the actual location. So it's just north of the Great Mall of Tolkien. It is a completely and almost I want to say it's a spherical type building. It's not just a dome on the top. The entire thing is like a big old circle with a single narrow doorway on the front. It's almost like a giant animal laid an egg, a glass egg, and someone made a business out of it. The color is this really, really almost deep, almost like kind of like a gross color brown with these little specks of purple flecks of paint all over it. When you enter this MedX unconventional alchemy, MedX alchemy, unconventional treatment for unconventional times, you are greeted by initially a very grotesque display. At the very center appears to be a plastic dummy, but unlike the mannequins, the fashion mannequins that you've seen in Ishpeming or other areas in Tolkien, this one appears to have been, well, flayed. Its plastic skin pulled back to show the plastic innards that are anatomically correct to a human being. Its chest cavity is nice and wide. Its stomach is nice and wide. And the more you look into it, it more looks like these plastic mechanisms are like pumping fake blood, fake guts churning through the entire thing. And the sound of this open plastic cavity kind of resonates through there. This dummy is encased by a small glass box separating ongoers from there, and surprisingly or perhaps unsurprisingly, you seem to be the only customer here. In fact, the only other person in this current establishment is a DB. This DB is almost as aesthetically strange as this establishment. Imagine a single large white ball. And that would be the midriff of this creature. Extending from this ball are small silvery legs, spindly silvery legs, two of them, that extend about 2 feet in length from this center white ball. Jutting out from the very front of it at a direct 90-degree angle from this center sphere are what appears to be 2 arms. And on the tip of each of these 2 arms are 3 little grabber claws. Spindling up from the top of this center thing is another spindly neck. It goes on for 2 feet itself. And on the top of this flexible, silvery, spindly neck is what appears to be a bird-like visage, except instead of conventional bird eyes, it is compound eyes, and the beak itself is far more narrow, almost like that of a hummingbird. This creature brings its compound eyes over to you and says in a chipper voice in perfect American, "Ah, welcome, welcome, come in. You're just in time for a demonstration."
Al looks around as he takes everything in and he goes, "A demonstration."
Indeed, indeed, we have a demonstration every half hour on the half hour to show off our magical miracle alchemical product that I myself, and as Inferno pauses. Oh yeah, as I myself, Adva Wasok, has created. Please, please come closer, 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 as it takes you towards the back of this egg-shaped building. You, yourself individually, or the group. To the back of this egg-shaped building. And after a little tweet from its beak, you notice that a shimmering counter that wasn't there before appears out of nearly almost seems out of ether, for lack of a better word. It rises from the ground, but it seems to be made of this glowing yellow energy, but it's in the shape of a conventional desk. It then solidifies into a much more crystalline yellow form. And on the very top of this desk appears to be a plunger filled with a soft orange amount of granular crystals or granular sand, as this strange bird spherical DB creature gestures towards it. And it begins its sale pitch. Wait, before I have it begin its little sale pitch, is there anything anyone would like to do or not do? Do or not do? That makes no fucking sense. Is there anything people want to do or say?
Al is content to watch the demonstration.
Nora is
Okay.
quiet, and but she keeps glancing over at Patrick. That's about it.
Patrick is not present at the presentation.
Then she is glancing at no one.
Okay. Give me just a moment. Okay. So, with one of its strange claw-like fingers, it points over to this strange plunger on the desk. And it says, "Imagine, if you would, a deep wound. What is the trouble with deep wounds?"
Stopping the bleeding.
Precisely. And the deep and the shapeness of such traumatic experience mitigates difficulty. Now, some treatment, conventional treatment, this bird thing twerps out with almost a small sound of derision, implies that gauze or other such pressure would be implied. However, it does not factor in the amazing alchemical properties of a substance that I simply identify as medical, well, element X or MedX, to be a little bit more, use a little bit more brevity. Simply put, using this state-of-the-art insertion device, this is simply inserted inside of the wound itself. Depressing the plunger is very simple, and the MedX substance soon filters into the wound. This both sanitizes, disinfects, and seals the wound in a matter of seconds, 23 seconds to be precise. After a period of 1 minute of applied pressure, you are able to transport the injured individual without having to worry about additional bleeding, blood loss, or opening up the wound until more permanent medical solutions can be found at a medical station. The compound eyes look at you where you see a small glint of pride in there. And in addition, this, thanks to advanced synthesis priorities, this can be offered to anyone and applied by anyone for a very low price. Each plunger costs a mere 250 credits, and its results have been proven in the field.
Al looks a little skeptical, but being diplomatic, he says, "You said it can be applied to anyone. Does this mean that any kind of DB or creature can accept it?"
As long as the creature in question has blood that has the potential to congeal, then yes. Unlike many other medical devices, the DB says proudly, this is not dependent on a blood type or even a blood consistency. All it needs is a simple reaction to liquid in order to initialize.
How difficult is it for a surgeon to remove it?
None whatsoever. In fact, a surgeon can easily suture over the wound itself and let MedX be able to degrade into any sort of bloodstream harmlessly. After a period of 36 hours, it is, how can I say, expelled out of the system, similar to a vitamin supplement.
Al nods appreciatively and says, and if it does have to be washed out, say to repair damage?
For the first time in this presentation, the DB clamps both its hands in a strange gesture and looks to the left and right and says, in 36 hours, it biodegrades through the system, much like a vitamin.
Al nods and then says, true, very true. But if there is a major artery clipped or something of that nature that handles a massive amount of the blood flow, 36 hours could cause damage to other parts of the body. If I, say, for example, did need to repair that artery, could I flush the chemical out?
You could flush the chemical out. It is not bonded to the individual. However, it gives a small exhale through the little nose-like holes in the tip of its beak. This has not been, well, frankly, we haven't practiced it very much. It would need to be scooped out by one's, and it clamps its fingers again. Possible, yes, but messy. The plunger system is a one-way device.
Al nods, as if he expected the answer, and then he, do you mind if I examine?
Oh, please, please, definitely. You'll have an even better chance to examine if you decide to make a purchase. And don't just ask me, it says as it looks around here. I understand that things seem very calm right now, but mostly we're doing our sales directly to businesses, adventuring parties, guilds, and mercenary companies. This store is simply for walk-in individuals, and this is not our peak time. But I have a record of vocal testimonials that you can listen to from both individuals at the River Bend Medical Facility and members of the Order of the Compassionate Heart.
Al nods and says, "No, that won't be necessary." As he examines it, and he says, um, "Is there heat involved? Is there a chance this might cause burning damage to the wound or anything
None
like that?"
whatsoever, the DB says proudly.
He nods, and Al says, "I'll." He pauses. He's about to say something. He pauses. He says, "Is there magic involved in this, or is it chemistry only?"
One would argue that alchemy is the essence of magic itself and the essence of chemistry. But if you're saying that conventional scientific methods could synthesize these unique crystals, then I would say no. It is an involved process that is confidential. But if you're asking if it would be considered magic, it pauses for a moment and it would say, yes, it would be, by the more base-minded.
Al nods, and he says, "Actually, my thoughts were, well, I will be forthcoming. I'm looking for equipment to use in trauma situations. I have never seen such a device before, which understandably has some skepticism based upon the amazing claims it produces. I take your word that you are an honorable person, but what I would like to do is purchase one of these and run some chemical test on it to see if it does have the potential to do what you say. I simply want to be sure that I'm not pumping in something I don't fully understand into a patient."
I see. Well, I can assure you on a few regards. The first and foremost is that I am fully licensed by the commercial authorizations of Tolkien. I have a full and utter updated license, and I'm a member of upstanding uh, prominence in the Better Business Guild. So that should say my credence as far as my believability and my status. In addition to what you propose, I didn't realize I was speaking to a fellow alchemist, it says very proudly. And although I'm sure you'll find it very, very interesting, I am so proud of my own unique perspective on alchemy. I am not afraid that you would find out its secrets.
Al nods and he says, "I have no doubt that you are an honorable person. I simply, well, if you put yourself in the same shoes, I'm sure you've been before, when seeing a new method when it comes to treating patients, given that someone's life is at stake, it is always best to be able to see it in action first."
The DB gives a low whistle and says, and I have learned the best selling is good quality results, which you will get. After all, unconventional medicine does have its fair share of skeptics, but for the purveyors of the unconventional can be confident that such things, well, will stand on their own merits.
Al nods.
However, I will not be able to provide you a complimentary sample. There is quite amount of work that is put into every single dosage. And medical samples are only given to authorized medical professionals in an institution within Tolkien.
Al nods. He says, "No, of course not. I will be more than happy to purchase one of them."
Fantastic. It says, as, oh, give me a moment. I hear a bleep. You could probably kick this thing's ass.
Al, after thinking about it, Al says, "As a matter of fact, I will purchase this one, and if you don't mind, I would like a demonstration."
Demonstration. Well,
Al like sits down at it. Is there a table or a chair anywhere around?
no, there isn't.
All right.
So
Al
far,
will-
unfortunately, in this very strange business, there's just the strange yellow countertop and the glass dummy.
Then Al would put his arm out on the countertop, like palm up, and he'd say, "We'll make an incision, a deep one, and then we'll try the product. I will have purchased it, so you won't be out your money, and I'll be able to gain confidence in it."
Nora pipes up finally. Al, an incision in what?
My arm.
No, idiot. Nora will sit down and hold out her arm. I heal faster than you.
Al looks at her, raises an eyebrow. "Want to bet?"
She eyes you up. No, I know I heal faster than you.
Al wiggles magical fingers.
She kind of slaps your fingers away from her face.
Your stupid magic fingers. Okay, so during this thing, this compound-eyed, bird-beaked, long-necked creature looks from left to right between the two of you, and it clanks both its fingers together against each other, to tips against each other, and it says, "Oh, this is very unconventional. Very, very unconventional, but not awful. I am confident in the results. It's just, well, I have to worry about legal reasons. One moment, please," it says, as it goes to the far left-hand side of the egg-shaped room, and you see, well, how can I say this without sounding really weird? No, not weird, but I'm just trying to think of a good way to describe this. Oh, I know. I don't have to go. Okay, you might or may not have recalled when you were going in exploring the hidden temple quite a while back, where you encountered Tyraths and that big golem and everything like that. There was an illusionary wall, right? That was blocking off an area, right? And when that illusionary wall was broken, it kind of shimmered quite a bit, in an illusionary way. He passes through the wall very similarly, implying that maybe the interior of the egg doesn't completely reflect the exterior of it, for lack of a better word. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
he disappeared behind a curtain, but instead of a curtain made of fabric, it was a curtain made of illusionary magic.
Yes.
Okay. So he steps wait, I'm confused. Does someone need to see something? Oh.
I was gonna say, are there any sharp objects nearby?
No, there isn't. Mhm.
Al would actually be pulling out his ceramic knife, his ceramic space knife.
Yeah.
Oh, then she'll just hold out her arm and look at Al. Just do it before he gets
so-
back.
Yeah. Al nods.
Oh my god. This will be really funny. Okay, this is great.
Al nods and says, "All right, hold still." And he
You
will.
stab at her.
Yeah, I would have to make a. I would be trying to avoid any veins or arteries, but I would be making a deep incision.
Yeah. you sustain, Nora, like 10 points of SDC damage as your arm gets stabbed by a knife. Pretty deep. We'll say like what, like an inch deep?
Yeah, an inch deep.
Oh my god. Yeah,
No.
definitely 10 points of SDC.
Nora makes a little noise with her mouth closed, and it looks like she's regaining she has composure, but you can see her fist is clenched and her mouth is really tight.
So blood begins to seep onto the strange yellow now solid countertop, as behind this same illusionary curtain comes the DB. In one of its clampy fingers appears to be a cred chip reader, and on the other side of its clampy fingers appears to be a small digital recorder. It drops the digital recorder when it sees what's happened, and you hear another surprising little melodic tweet come from its mouth, but this one much louder and sharper, that says, "Oh no! Oh no, 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 too unconventional," as it bends down to pick up the recorder, and it quickly runs towards you and says, "Please, you must speak in this recorder and say that you harmed yourselves intentionally in my establishment, and you have no interest in seeing me in court."
I don't want to see you in court. Just do the thing.
Al would repeat as well. We harmed ourselves intentionally in your store. We have no intention of seeing you in court.
And this was not at my behest, correct?
Of
Correct.
course.
Okay. as it says, and it looks at the cred chip reader awkwardly and looks at the bleeding hand. It sees the blood soaking onto its counter as it gives another loud tweet out of its nostrils, and it says, "Oh, you can pay me after. Pick up the plunger. Hurry."
Al would pick up the plunger. Now simply press the tip against the wound, inject it as far as it will go, and then depress the plunger. You will feel a warm, achy feeling for a period of a few seconds, but you will know it is working. Oh, it pauses for a moment as it looks over to Nora. You are not allergic to anything from the Zarkaz planet?
Nora starts to visibly sweat.
Al looks up now. Now you bring that up?
We'll find out.
I was going to bring this up, but then you stabbed yourselves.
We'll find out. Just do the thing.
Al will say, "All right, grit your teeth." And then he will insert the plunger into the wound and push down on the plunger.
Okay, Nora, you feel a very warm sensation. A warm and numb sensation. Did you ever have, when you go to the dentist, have you ever had your mouth frozen?
Oh, yeah.
Like that in your arm.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay. And sure enough, out of and Al, you can see once you depress these strange orange crystals into the wound itself, they quickly begin to expand very, very slightly, and they appear then to gel together into almost like a gelatin that seals the wound complete up to the very brim. The bleeding stops almost instantaneously as the DB then gestures towards the arm. With the palm of your hand, press against it for a minute.
Al will do so.
And during the minute, the DB reassuringly says that the odds of a human being allergic to anything from the planet Zarkaz is 1 in 790 trillion.
She doesn't care.
Roll me a D1 trillion, please.
All right, here we go.
If you get a 1, you die.
Hang on. Where's the 1 trillion?
I think it's in the back.
How do you? Okay, I've never
Yeah.
/roll D1000. How many? How many is a trillion?
Trillion has 1, 2, 3.
6, 9, 12. 12 zeros.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I just type in /roll and then D and then the number.
1D. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
1D.
1D, yeah.
Is it the top or the
Oh,
bottom?
it says unrecognized command. Did I type
You're
it wrong?
fine.
Oh, okay.
wasn't gonna kill you.
I would have.
I just
I
want-
think it would have been funny, actually.
Yeah. Al would have never recovered.
So after a minute, sure enough, you alleviate the pressure. And Nora, although your arm is still numb, the pain is very, very distant, almost like it's happening to someone else. And Al, you can recognize now that due to the complete lack of bleeding, you could treat the wound with quite a bit of ease now.
Al would look at Nora. How do you feel?
Feel great. Actually, I feel a lot better. This thing, actually. She looks down, kind of sheepishly. Works pretty well.
Huh.
You feel a nudge against your hand, Al, as a certain cred chip reader starts bumping up against it, held by the DB.
Al nods and inserts his cred chip into it for 250 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And Al would turn to him and say, "I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, I am looking to put together some sort of trauma kit that I could carry around in places such as this. Obviously, I can't carry around my best medical equipment, and even some of my equipment like laser scalpels and the like are, well, for obvious reasons, not always allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to put together some sort of kit, so in case someone is injured in a premise like this, I can have it on me at all times. I'm thinking," and he'll hold up like the dimensions of the pack he's thinking about doing and kind of explain what he has planned. And then he'd say, "And I'd be interested in anything else you have beyond the basics."
Oh, well, I hate to disappoint, but our current company only sells one product, although I am developing others based on the proceeds of this. But let's just say I'm starting small and breaking into the medical market. If you are looking for suggestions in which to acquire such, goods as you described, I would suggest, well, let us make a bargain, it says as it clamps its fingers together. I make most money not on individual sales, but on small bulk orders. If you were to agree to buy 20 of my devices right now, I could provide you a name of an individual who is a liaison between private enterprises and the hospitals. I could even set up a meeting with them, and perhaps you'd be able to get wholesale prices for the goods that you require.
I think that sounds like a terrific idea.
Fantastic. Now, no guarantees that you will get wholesale prices, but at least I can make an introduction to get you an in on a level of the medical industry here in Tolkien that otherwise the average consumer would not get.
The honest truth is that I'm a traveling doctor, and we very commonly find ourselves in undeveloped areas, and I do have...
Yes, and very dangerous, yes.
Yes, I do have a lab on my vehicle, but I would like to set up some line of supplies for medical equipment. That would be very advantageous for me.
Good. Let me get the crate then. It says as it leaves the Gredstick reader on the slightly bloody yellow table, as its compound eyes kind of look towards it and look towards you as it goes back towards its illusionary curtain.
Al will go ahead and remove 5,250 credits.
Great. Your proud order of a small, squat green box filled with 20, and we'll say for this simplistic, just say MedX appliers.
Got it. Now, out of curiosity, how big are they?
They are the size of a conventional needle.
Oh, so like a syringe.
Yeah, syringe, yeah.
Oh, okay. So very easily could fit several of them in a little pack.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I didn't actually state, but I suppose I'd be using the coalition.
Sure. Yep. Universal trade credits we would accept. Yep.
All right, give me a second. Let me remove that. So 5,250. Which would leave us with. Oh, hey.
Okay,
Okay.
it's 4 horses. What do you do?
Do-do-do-do.
Do,
Gonna
do,
meet
do,
that
do, do,
dad.
do, do, do,
Okay.
do.
Wanna meet
Okay.
that
There we go.
Okay. Excellent. Shall we wrap up this? Oh, wait. It should actually give you. It should actually make arrangements, and it'll actually say, "Would you be able to meet here tomorrow at say soon after opening, 8 o'clock in the morning?"
I could do that.
Fantastic. Then I'll be able to contact my friend and arrange a meeting.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. A good time to end this little moment here.
I think so. Al would be almost like a mother hen. Al would be constantly making sure Nora's okay, making sure her arm's okay, making sure there aren't any
Well-
late reactions.
While he's doing that, she's gonna be like, I bet you enjoyed that. Bet you enjoyed stabbing me in the arm.
Al will wave his hands away and say, "Don't be ridiculous."
She's smirking as she's saying it. Don't lie to me.
Al is also smirking. No,
Okay.
no. Al simply rolls his shoulder.
she just will raise an eyebrow, and then the scene can end.
Okay. So, next scene will be in the Grand Mall, that large open air marketplace. Well, partially open air marketplace when you first actually arrived to Tolkien itself. Is it fair to assume that this will definitely have all or the big bulk of the party? Yay or nay?
I will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, Kara, I'll just be following
Okay.
along.
All right.
Patrick's going to be there.
Okay, good. Tommy Tom Tom? Tommy Tom Tom.
I don't know.
Can we just address how creepy that was? For just one
With the
second.
Tommy Tom Tom?
Tommy Tom Tom.
Let me just do this. No.
Okay. We'll say maybe this is when you're in the tower then, for the sake of
Yeah.
simplicity. Okay. So the group once again assembles by the Grand Mall, listening to the various voices that resonate, trying to find at least a familiar sounding barker, or at least someone who's proposing the same service. I would like Patrick, Mila, and Al to roll me a D100, please. Mila, I would like yours to be made easier by 15. Wow. Negative plus minus 15. Wow. Good. You got a -7. Okay. Nora definitely picks it up. You hear the loud, almost kind of nasally voice of an individual who proudly proclaims that techno wizardry, if you can dream it, I can build it. Guaranteed. Come on, come on. Don't be shy. Assemble, assemble. You notice, you definitely hear it coming from the northeast of the mall towards an area that seems to be dominated by parked vehicles and trucks rather than established buildings or tents. Is it fair to say that you communicate this to your fellow companions?
Yeah, because I totally wasn't paying attention when you said
You-
it. I zoned out. And
Why
got
do
a
I? Okay, wait a
I
second.
got a -7. Oops.
That means good.
Yeah, I know. I should have been paying attention, but I did the exact opposite of what I should have been doing.
I'm going to get my revenge on you right now.
No.
You feel, Nora, you feel a big, burly, clammy hand suddenly rest on your shoulder.
Nora turns her head and looks.
You're in face to face with the pig-snouted-esque, hairy, slightly warty visage of an orc. And its teeth says, "You! I know you!
What?
You!" And it looks around with its black eyes, and it sees Al, and it sees Patrick. It goes, "Yes! You! Muscle for hire, come! We need you!
What? What?
Come now!
No.
Need you!"
No. What? No. You have me
Al would
confused
say,
with
is
someone
there a
else.
problem with the sign?
No, not problem with the sign. Just problem in general. You are trustworthy. You can help. Come.
Oh, no. You got me confused with someone. Al, do something.
Al looks at Nora and he says, well, you heard her. We're trustworthy.
Nora, like, groans and says, okay, let's go.
So the orc, who Al and Patrick would definitely recognize as, I guess you could say, the head orc that did most of the negotiations before with the whole muscle for hire thing and the signs. You notice because he is the biggest and hairiest of the bunch after all. And as he weaves you and leads you through the crowd, which is not very far away, maybe a whole 100 feet down towards the south, back towards the big, hastily constructed log building, he explains, "So, business is good. Business is really good. We've been getting in a few fights with people who think they don't need muscle for hire. Police told us we need security in the front. We hired a guy, but we want to make sure he's pretty good. So come on. We can trust your opinion. You're decent people. I was gonna just pull someone from the crowd, but I saw her. I recognize her. So yeah, come on."
So we're just here to give you our opinion on whether or not the guy you hired for security is good?
Yeah, you're gonna pretend you are a jerk, and he's gonna pretend to throw you out and see if he can handle it. What?
Al
Sounds great.
Al shakes his head and he looks at Nora like kind of apologetically. He's like, I'll take this one.
Yeah, that's fine. She's hurt anyway. Probably a wuss. Anyway.
No, Al, I'll take this one. Who needs to be tested?
Shakes his head at the orc going, no.
Oh, are you listening now, bitch?
I am.
Good.
Now, bitch.
I'm so sorry.
Al just like silently mouths no as he like shakes his head.
All right. So you get to the front of the building, and sure enough, you see another orc. He is really short and really squat looking. You don't know ages of orcs very well, so you can't really estimate, but he seems to be an adult. But the way the other orcs are talking to him almost implies like he's either an idiot or he's a child. Maybe both. The lead orc, who never really gave his name to you, says, "Okay. I got a few of them. Most of our people who hire us are going to be humans or elves or other types of smaller breakable races. So here's the deal." And he's kind of explaining it mostly to this new bouncer. "Police made it really clear that you're supposed to use, what did they say? A And he's pressing his fist against his forehead like he's trying to remember really hard. Appropriate force. That means, and he says in almost a derisive way, if you can't break their bones, you can just, push them away. Maybe call them a few names or something like that, okay? So he says, and he looks towards Patrick and Al and Bear and Mila, and he says, so, don't worry, just practice. Might get a little roughed up, but tell you what, I promised you half hour of muscle for hire. You do this, we give you full hour of muscle for hire. 2 hours for the cheater.
Al remembers the cheater.
Oh, okay. Patrick is gone. Oh, sorry. Patrick isn't here. My bad.
Oh. Al would look to Nora and kind of do like the whole like with his hands like, would you like to?
So, okay, for Criana's sake, because Criana's reaching that tired phase where she's zoning out, we're gonna fuck with this bouncer guy, or what's
you're gonna pretend to not want to leave, and he's gonna force you to leave and see if he can handle it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Out of character, what we're gonna do is instead of a full-on combat roll, I was thinking of doing something really simple, which would be like, say, an opposed strength check or an opposed like attack roll to see who would get the upper hand. Does that seem fair and quick?
I think so.
Okay. So Nora will volunteer.
Yep.
And the orcs, the head orc and this smaller, squatter bouncer orc both look at each other, and they openly laugh. And the bouncer orc, the short squat one, kind of rubs its hands together and goes, "Okay, easy. Okay, come here," he says, and he gestures towards him.
Nora stares.
He sighs and he walks on over to you. And he juts a gnarled thumbnailed finger, nailed finger right in your face, and he says, "You're a bad customer. Come here." And he goes to grapple you. Brings his big bulky arms to wrap around you.
Nora ducks down and tries to slide underneath him.
Ooh, I like it. So let's do something really simple then. I'm going to do an attack roll. I'll have you do a dodge roll.
Okay. Oh gosh, dodge.
I know.
It's been so long. Plus
I know. All right, ready?
Almost. I gotta just. Oops, I'm doing negatives. I want positives. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh my god, I got a 4. Yeah, you do so very easily. You duck underneath his awkward grasp and slide right underneath his legs, and you're now up behind him in a flash, just like that.
I think I'm a very good customer.
Huh? He says as he begins to turn his head around. No, good customers. And he looks over to the bouncer. I mean, to the leader, the orc leader. The orc leader just kind of gives a shrug and he says, "Deal with it." Like,
maybe you're a bad bouncer.
No, I'm good. He says, as now you hurt his pride, so now he's actually going to try to punch you.
All right.
In your face.
Try and dodge that again.
Okay. Oh my god. It's like he's moving in molasses, Mila. You see this coming a mile away. Like he winds it up, and by the time he extends his elbow completely, you're you're wherever you want to be, right? But he's just gonna hit nothing but air. It says as it punches itself in the sides and stomps its feet in a hissy fit like manner. Not fair. Are all customers like this? And no, go ahead.
She's gonna say, "No, I'm just a special case."
And it begins to quiver and shake really hard. And now we're going to see how smart he is. Not too bad. He takes a deep breath and he brings both his fists up and looks like he's about to try to deal you another blow. And he says, "Wait. Maybe if I ask nice, you leave?"
I don't know. Why don't you give it a try?
"Could you please go away now, human?"
That
And it
was
looks
very,
at you with squinted eyes.
That was very, very well done. Mila's gonna go to punch him. I mean, Nora.
Oh my god!
Wait, what?
Roll the hit.
What?
Roll the hit. Roll the hit. Roll the
The
hit.
swerve.
Okay,
Roll the hit.
so when Nora says that, Al sighs like, "Okay, nothing bad." What?
Is that by strike? To strike?
Yeah. It's your
Okay,
two
it's
strike.
been so long.
I know.
Don't want to mess up. There we go.
Okay. Oh my god. He's going to try and dodge it. He's not going to have much of it. No. You smack him right in. Do you want to hit him like right in his nose?
Sure. We'll go right for the face.
You smack him. You smack him right in the nose. Now, are you hitting him with all your strength or
No.
just giving him? Okay, you're giving him a jab, right?
Yeah.
For the sake of simplicity and speed, we won't roll damage, right? Because you're not really trying to hurt him. You are going to hurt him, by the way. You hit
Yeah.
him right in the nose. In fact, it's such a surprise. He gives an almost unorc-like yelp as he falls flat on his ass, and he rubs his nose, and you can see his little black eyes are welling up with tears, but he's trying not to cry in front of his boss.
Nora will kneel down. You gotta try the nice tactic first, not the mean one. Otherwise, you make enemies. Got it?
Yeah. It says, ashamed as it hangs its head.
Good.
The orc leader says, "Oh, good. Yeah. 1 hour's service. Very good. You taught him a good lesson. You taught me I need to get a better bouncer, too. You, get out of here," he says as he kicks the other orc in the butt. "Okay. Thank you." The orc says as he disappears back inside his business. Muscle for hire.
Nora looks over at Al.
Al slow golf claps.
She will take an exaggerated bow.
And
stuff.
Al says, "Well, he didn't break his jaw. I suppose that is progress."
I just gave him a little tap. He'll be fine.
And Al nods. He goes, "Well, shall we go back to the hawker?"
Sure.
So we're going to say, for the sake of simplicity, you'll be able to hear and retrace your steps and meet up with Patrick and the other NPCs who followed him. But I'll introduce you into the scene when the time comes, if that works for you. Yeah.
Totally works for me. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So, Patrick, you're able to get your eyes on the individual who's been Nora directed before she was interrupted by that orc. She did direct you guys to the northeast, and sure enough, you weave through tents and makeshift stores to the stone establishments of more permanent selling structures, and you come across what appears to be a collection of convoys. And at the very, very edge of one of the rows appears to be an old battered Jeep, and from the back of it is a bright red, almost like a picnic blanket spread out with a variety of devices on the back of it. And on the front, strutting back and forth, the individual who's been calling out this advertisement is a man. He is a tall, lanky man. He's about 6'2". He has very, very short, cropped black hair and a really, really narrow face and a slightly pointed, jutted out nose. He is dressed in I guess you could say, conventional mechanic gear, which is a set of tools, what appears to be a set of greasy overalls, and a dark green undershirt. He's clearly wearing work boots as well. The other big defining feature you'll notice as you converse with him or even just casually observe him is that on his left hand, along the fingers, along the knuckles, just above the knuckles, are tattooed letters that spell Z-I-G-G, and on the thumb, Y. Ziggy. He notices your small group approach, and he waves you over, and he says, you're looking for good custom-made equipment, yes?
Yes, I'm looking for something very special. Um,
Well, you're
I
lucky.
heard
I'm,
you make custom wares.
I sure do. Every single one of these things is custom, and I am fantastic, absolutely fantastic at, well, coming up with whatever goes on inside your head.
Do you have enough materials to make something as large as like a and he starts like putting out his hands like fairly like wide next to him and like a hand above his own head.
This fellow says, "Oh, yeah, I sure can. The name's Zigomar Proloff, and I got access to all sorts of resources that you can't even imagine. I could make things 10 times that size. Yep, just give me enough time and credits, and it can be done."
Okay. Then
Mhm.
would love to see what services you may have, as well
Oh,
as type of material is going to be pretty important as well.
I see. Well, would you like to see some of the things I got here as kind of, idea of the stuff that I can make? Or should I take you to the, um, my workshop right away?
Patrick glances around. Is there anything even close to something that looks like it may be made out of uh, majority of glass?
Actually, there is one thing on the back of his truck that seems to be made out of the majority of glass. It seems to be in the shape of an umbrella.
Like a glass umbrella?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Wait a second. Ziggy follows your gaze, and he gives a big, wide, teeth-filled smile. He says, oh, by the way, he's a young guy too, maybe like in his early 20s at most. And he says, I see you got a good eye. Here, let me demonstrate this. He says, he gets over. Ziggamon Proloff, but everyone here calls me Ziggy or Zig. Anyway, take a look at this. Take a look at this, he says, as he leaps onto the top effortlessly on the back of his Jeep, as he pulls out and brandishes this this umbrella, and the top seems to be made of a glass-like material, and the stem, the handle of the umbrella is made of what appears to be just solid, rich oak wood. And he waves it around his head a little bit. He goes, "This is a one-of-a-kind substance infused with magic and powered by very, very base but effective technology." And he throws and tosses it over to you. I would like you... Yeah, just roll me a d20. Don't add any modifiers to it. Okay. Uh, the umbrella doesn't fly very gracefully through the air, but you are able to catch it with both hands. As it lands in your grasp, Patrick, You definitely, the very top, the umbrella portion, does actually feel like smooth glass. But what's really strange about it is that it seems to give way a little bit. And as you examine it with your hands and your eyes, Ziggy proudly proclaims, that is a one-of-a-kind protective equipment. Typical umbrellas, of course, protect an individual from just the rain, yes? And you can barely see anything and it gets caught in the wind. It's a whole big mess. This device that I have invented myself, well, not only does it protect an individual of all weathers, but do you see that little blue button on the side of the handle there? He says. And sure enough, there is a blue button there.
Patrick will nod.
If you press that, my umbrella will emit heat down upon you, drying you in a matter of minutes. Now, do you see that yellow button there?
Patrick will nod a bit more, not just solemnly or anything like that, but actually, like almost that kind of like twice nod, like his head's sort of bobbing at this point.
And Ziggy will give a big smile. When you press that button, a shield protects around you, a nice little bubble that will protect you from most manners of conventional gunfire. You see that red button? He says with a sly grin.
Patrick will give a slow but intense to learn more nod.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you ever heard of, ghosts, entities, spirits, vapor demons, things like that?
Yes.
Well, say one of those things is raining on your parade. You press that, ain't none one of those things are going to approach you or your new umbrella within the period of 100 meters for quite a few hours. Now, are you magically or psychically gifted?
Yes.
Good. So in order to recharge it, you simply only have to do the appropriate incantations or focus enough of yourself into it. As a price of my products, I can teach the needed incantations to recharge this particular item and many of the items that I provide for premium. But like I say, I'm a generous guy.
Thank you.
At this point, by the way, Nora and Owl have approached.
Okay, Al would just come up quietly and watch what's going on.
I would have to discuss with the others about that purchase, but I am interested in a custom. I'm not even sure what to call it. Vehicle.
Okay, yeah. I can fix up vehicles. I can, rewire them, so to speak, for a variety of, the only big question is, would you be able to afford such a cost?
I think so.
Great. Well, let's not speak in ambiguities here. Ziggy is your man. Ziggy will make your dreams come true if your dreams involve a vehicle powered by techno-wizardry. Go on, be more specific. The more you tell me, the more I can tell you.
Okay. I am looking for. Actually, it's more of an entirely custom shape, model, material. See, I'm looking for something that is more of a curved outer, very similar to an orb or dome or even an egg, anything that is more rounded, that may be hatched in the back with. Well, I have to know exactly what kind of materials you would have, but the outer shell being more of a high impact glass.
Okay. All right. This is so far strange, but I definitely have the materials that you're talking about, or access to them at the very least.
Okay, good. Patrick would take out a personal computer. This one would, if anybody would recognize this, which would be hard to, but Dingo's old
Oh,
computer.
you mean Diego's?
Diego, excuse me.
Dingo. Maybe a
Bingo
dingo
was
ate
his
your baby.
name.
All right. But yeah, Diego's old computer. Yeah.
And he'll actually do a. He seemed to have like sketched up a small kind of rough schematic about what he's hoping to have, and he's drawn up particular like exact lengths and widths and things like that.
Okay. As you show this off, Ziggy will peer right over your shoulder, which is very easy because he's a tall fellow, even though you are, pretty tall as well. And the more and more you sketch out, you can sense the excitement or the energy around this young lanky man. And he says, wow, one of a time. I could real bust out with this. Yeah. I insist. We can definitely get this done. Yeah, you found the right person.
Good. Um, I'm looking to make sure that none of this is made out of two particular materials. It
Okay.
can be made out of wood, bone, glass, but it can never be plastic or metal.
Okay, no plastic, no metal. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, tell you what, and by the way, this is how I'm going to kind of wrap up the session here for you guys because we're getting near the call-off time.
Mhm.
But Siggy will suggest, okay, well, tell you what, I'll close up shop here. You can accompany me. You all can accompany me, or at least meet me at my workshop. I guess you could say it's a place called. Give me a moment. Cycloration. It's just on the northern side of the city itself. If you want to hop on, he says, and he looks over to Patrick. I'll talk about some of my other devices in the meantime. Maybe get some additional interest out of you.
I would like that a lot. Thank you. Oh, and the most important thing, I was just talking about the outer shell.
Yeah.
The reason why I came to you as a techno wizard, I hope that's the term that's used.
Yeah, sure. It's a team that a lot of the people like to throw around. I like to call myself well, it's not good in polite company. He looks over to Mila and Alicia and blank. And he says, forget what I call myself. Yeah, techno wizard.
I would like an enchantment over this. Hopefully something along the lines of an invisibility spell of some kind.
Gotcha. We're talking about something permanent or something that gets activated.
Well, Patrick actually thinks for a moment. I guess we'll have to discuss costs and things like that to give a solid answer.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll worry about that in a moment. Well, we'll get over to the workshop. We'll suss out the details and really kind of crunch the numbers, so to speak.
So, Patrick, I'm a little curious. What are you making here?
Oh, many a times when you guys go out, I usually can't follow. I'm making something to remedy that.
A device that you can cast fly on?
For the most part, yes.
Interesting.
Cool. So, how about we wrap up the session and we'll start next session with you guys heading over to Cycloration, Ziggy's workshop, and we'll
Yeah.
go from there. Sound good?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so in between our session, I can do one of two things. I can definitely get some techno wizardry devices for burn and your all perusal. In
Mhm.
addition, Piph, I'll get with you and we'll really hash out the schematics of this thing. Sound good to
Okay.
you? And that way we won't be spending a lot of session time being like, do you want this? Do you want that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We'll take some liberties there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And could we also say that on the way there, you guys pick up Tom?
Sure. I think that works perfectly.
Sweet.
Because they're gonna have to get back to the ship because they can't all haul on to Ziggy's little jeep anyway, right? He'll probably just take Patrick with him.
Mhm.
Patrick and maybe one other person, so they'll have to meet up to the ship anyway. And we can say, Tom finished his shopping and he arrived at the ship a little bit before or at the same time as the rest of the group, so we have no one lost out there.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Sure.
Yay. All right then. Thanks for everything, guys. This is where I'm gonna stop streaming. Somebody
there's
asked for a
person who
Q&A.
wanted- Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if Trilby has a quick question for us, I'm sure
Yeah.
those who want to stick
Sure.
around can answer. Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
We'll have to just wait a few seconds for Trilby to understand this. But yeah, ask your question, dude.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
There was
Da,
a.
I think
I
I,
have to.
I think I
Mhm.
reached my. I'm so like mentally like can't do things like an hour ago.
Oh, dude, that's
Oh, thank you, Trilby.
Question.
Okay, so tell you what, because it's a little
Alright.
late and Criana's going crazy, let me not ask the 4 questions, but let's ask the one question: is where do you see the campaign going now?
Oh shit.
well.
Should this be streamed? Is this like a?
Sure, why not?
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's
people
like
who
a-
are watching this will be caught up, right? So there'll
Yeah.
be no spoilers.
Don't worry, Grimmith. We're gonna talk about the other 3 questions later. So just don't
sure
be
Grimmith
insulted
doesn't care.
too much, please. Oh, jeez.
Well,
If you
I
guys
guess
don't know, it's
I can
okay.
go.
Go
Yeah,
ahead. Okay. Yeah.
I can go. So in the short term, I see it going one of two ways. Well, not in the extreme short term. Obviously, we're going to play around in Tolkien until we're done there, and then I believe we still want to go by Parents Post to see what's kicking over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then once all that's done, either to Pinshaw or to wherever the road to Cure Morn takes us. Because that could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else from you guys? Do you want to confirm, refute, put in your own perspective there?
No,
I think just personally, I think Nora needs to figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
We
But,
do want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna just say something, but I don't remember now. So
Yeah.
Now,
I'm sorry.
I'm curious. I'm curious. When you say she needs to figure shit out, do you mean she needs to figure out whether or not she wants to deal with Pinshaw, or she needs to deal with Pinshaw?
yeah. No, she has a.
To both.
It's hard, like, because Nora's got a lot of shit on her mind, and trying to remember all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's she's just got to figure shit out, like with you guys, with Bear, with Penshaw, with all of that. So
With everything.
I think right now she's like following in like a pit of confusion.
Hmm.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay.
Oh, and Parents Post in Space, of course, that one.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Well, yeah, sure. Investigate the prophecy further. That's
Oh,
always
yeah.
going to be on the table. That's going to be an overarching thing. We don't know when it's going to happen, and I mean,
How?
that's
or
fine.
anything.
We just know something's
And-
gonna happen.
I mean,
They're just gonna gather more information as they can,
Yeah.
right?
and
Yeah.
we as players don't want to know. We want to find out.
Mhm.
If
Oh,
you
yeah, we
guys
have-
know
yeah.
what it is, don't tell us,
Wait,
please.
how would they
No.
know? How would they
I
know?
get.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
They wouldn't.
have
There,
theories?
well, there are theories. There are a lot of theories in like
Oh.
the Palladium lore, but I can tell you right now, don't depend on that. I have changed
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, and didn't you even tell us that even in canon, no one's really sure what the first thing was?
because the writers of it, especially Kevin Simbita, made it vague, so DMs could do whatever they wanted with it.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Also,
Yeah.
you've
It's a
said
bunch
yourself.
of Augusts.
You said yourself in the past that hey, you're perfectly comfortable with moving dates and times and stuff around too, which is
I
nice.
sure am. Yeah.
Dear God,
I mean-
everyone. August found a way to clone himself, and that's the swarm.
Oh.
No. But yeah, I think it would be kind of neat to tool around Tolkien for a while. Maybe make it. We've been talking out of session about possibly making it our home base for a bit. But that would require a lot of investment and time and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So we're
Which is
still on the
perfectly
fence
possible.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
most
possible.
definitely.
Um,
Mhm.
I am personally interested if we do end up staying in Tolkien for a period of at least 6 months, possibly having Tom look into the dimensional and temporal college. So,
Yerp.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, August is still around. He's more bearable.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 6 months, but then I thought about it. It could take that long, even if, like, let's say we even want to do the Morin thing. It could take that long to dig up a lead. Who
Yeah.
knows? I have
Yeah.
no clue. So
And
Yeah,
and
we don't
campaign
know.
time is flexible, right? Like we passed by 6 months in like 2 sessions before, 4
Yeah.
months in 1 session. So
And
yeah.
and
If we-
hell, I'm only using 6 months as the metric because that's how long Patrick and Al took. Right?
Yeah, it might have been closer to 8, but yeah.
I remember 6 though.
Regardless, you have to do a
Yeah.
lot of investigation on a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff, right? You don't even know if temporal magic is taught,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
know. But it is a
You
university.
don't know.
Patrick,
Yep.
time to
Yep,
stock
yep,
up
yep,
on
yep,
spell scrolls. We have time.
But yeah,
Dun,
no,
dun.
I think that's a great answer to the question and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And we can probably wrap up the stream now, though.
All right. I am going to stop pretty soon. Thank you for watching and see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.